somebody said, I thought you said each and every Tuesday. Yes, however, there's an exception to every rule. Okay,
Okay,
an
period.
exception to every rule.
I
Let me
love
just
being
say
the
something about this
exception.
system, real quick. I have actually, I typically don't even introduce my guests, not for any reason. I'm relatively new at this. I let them introduce themselves. This young lady, I was like, nah, I got to pour something out. I got to make an introduction. So
Stop
apologies to any
it.
guests that didn't get an introduction. Don't feel slighted. I'm gonna do this going forward. Okay, she have started something new for me. But this, I can remember seeing this young lady on a podcast. I've been trying to get her here for a few months, right? We're like
Uh-oh.
maybe a month into it trying to figure
It's
this
been a
out.
few months, yep.
And and I saw on this podcast, I was looking at this and I'm like, yes, thank you, yes. And we're gonna get into all the
You're
yes and the thank
welcome.
yous. Okay, but I must tell you, this young lady, okay, we're gonna call her Miss Jackie this evening. I know you hold on to
Period.
your youth and everything, but I'm gonna call you Miss Jackie this evening. This is like, she's like the epitome, and I'm just looking from afar, like the epitome of a community activist, like for real. You got me
Thank
checking
you.
myself. We'll get into that. She's the actual, from afar, what I'm saying is real leadership, like real actual front
Thank
line. Like
you.
people, we talk about the problem all the time.
Yeah, we
And
do.
we might even touch on the solution, but
Ooh,
most
we
people
might
don't
touch on
do
it.
the actual work. She is doing the
Wow.
actual work. Okay, so she's a leader. She's our
Thank
spokesperson. That's what
you.
I'm calling you. Are our spokesperson, right? She is the voiceless for the voice. She is the voice for the voiceless. She stands for
Mm,
injustice, not just locally, but even nationally. We'll get into that. She is a national community organizer. She is a movement strategist writer. She is a hope dealer, a truth seeker. This young lady is, I'm telling you, I can't make this up. I'm fired up just
oh,
to be able
thank
to
you.
finally sit here with you. Um, I thought I was so rah, rah, rah. I mean, like for the people. When I saw you, I was like, man, I ain't doing nothing.
No, no,
But I get it.
no.
We all have a different space for
That's
what we
right.
call doing it for the community and the movement.
That's
So I
right.
won't slight myself. But
Please don't.
I absolutely love and adore everything that you have
Oh,
done,
thank
everything you will
you.
continue to do. And I'm sure I missed off on something. So, but I will allow you to introduce yourself in any brief or long way that you know how before we get into it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited because we finally got to get to this moment. And it has been a little bit of a struggle with some of the things I've been working on. So thank you for still wanting me to come on and for all the great things you said
Absolutely.
about me. I'm Jacqueline. I am a national organizer, movement strategist, activist, field director. I don't know. I'm just for the people. Es la liberación para mí. If you don't know Spanish, it's the liberation for me. And so I am just a person who is people oriented, community centered. I love people and I love change and I love to make impact. And so I truly believe that it is our duty to fight for our freedom and it is our duty to win. We must love and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. And so I stand by that. I live by that. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. I don't like I just get into the questions. I'm not big
I love
on
it. I love it.
talking
I
about
love it.
myself really. I
But
love, I just
this
love
is
this work.
at the end of the day, we're here to talk about you. We're here to talk about you. We want to get to know you. We want to understand you. We want to know where this comes
I'm
from.
shy, April. I'm
You're not.
shy,
You're
girl.
so
I'm
not
shy.
shy with the bull on the front line. Sorry, not tonight. You know what I'm saying? You're everything but
Oh my
shy.
gosh.
And
Oh
so,
Lord.
where were you born and raised? Because I think didn't you? Let me let you tell your story. Where were you born and
Yeah, so
raised?
I'm originally from the Bronx, New York. All my family's there. I have no family in Virginia, like no one. My mom was here. She's back in New York taking care of my grandparents. And so I'm originally from the Bronx, New York. I have been back and forth between Hampton Roads and New York my whole life. And
Mm,
so I graduated from high school in Indian River High School, went to Oscar Smith High School as well in Chesapeake. So,
okay.
and then I went to Norfolk State University where I got my bachelor's in political science. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm actually from the Bronx, New York. That's why it's like I can go and change the world anywhere because, baby, I just go somewhere,
Yes, I love
mess it up, as
that.
they like to say. I won't say the other words. I'm trying to work on my language, but I go, mess some stuff up, and then I leave.
I love it. And so okay. So how many? Do you have any siblings?
I do. So it's crazy. I technically have three brothers. And
Okay.
so they
Technically,
are all in New
okay.
York. Yes, yes, I do. Because my dad and mom have one son together, and then
Gotcha.
we're by my dad, and then I have two other brothers, but they're still my brothers.
Gotcha.
It's just we're not very close. Like me and they're in New York, and just a lot of different things. Generational curses is what I hope to break. And that's what I will say.
Yes. Yes, I
That's
think
my
you've already
goal.
started that, right? See, one
Amen.
thing
I
that I
think so.
understand, I overstand, but I really want to say about generational curses. I think a lot of times we think that's the curse, kill it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hit it from the root, right there. Sometimes you got to take a whole back door, you got to reroute, you got to do a whole bunch of other things before you can come
Whew.
back to that very
Yes.
curse that you're trying to cut. But
Yes.
what I want to encourage you to know is that what you're doing, you've already broken generational curses.
Amen.
And
Amen.
so if there's
Amen.
any that still may be present, right, that doesn't mean that they can continue because maybe they're still being uh, um, relived, act out, reciprocated, right? Just because they may be on repeat, you've already done the work to break
Amen.
any and
Amen.
every. I ain't trying to be deep. I'm not saying this to be
No,
saying
I
it.
love
I
that.
can I
Amen.
speak
And
that
I
over my
say,
life and in my family.
yes.
Maybe
Yes.
that
I love that.
devil's still rearing his head in that area, but I know based on what I've done thus far,
That's
that
right.
will be no more.
That's right. Amen. I
You
love
know, so we
that.
got to be reminded of
Thank
that and
you.
know that you've done the
That's right.
necessary work already.
That's right.
um, because essentially, if you really think about it, when it comes down to what we like to call generational curses, these things come from so many generations back, and they're tied to so many other
That's right.
things. We
That's
think it's
right.
just alcohol, for an example, but that
Mm.
alcohol is tied to something else,
A
probably
sexual
various
assault or
things.
something, right? Like a
Yeah,
disappointment,
yeah,
an abandonment issue. It's a root. There's a root of
yeah.
that too.
And it'd be
So it's all these roots.
variations,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
I
why they
love
call them
that.
dysfunctions,
Mm.
right? Because that's why, because there's so many of them. But we're gonna try to say,
Oof.
focus. We're gonna let God do what God do. Okay, so you came from Brooklyn. Okay, so
The
you
Bronx, the
stayed in
Bronx, the
Brooklyn up
Bronx.
until what age?
I'm from the Bronx,
The
but I was in the
Bronx.
Bronx. I did some elementary school in Virginia. Then I moved back to New York. Then I
Okay.
did some middle school in Maryland and middle school in New York. And I moved back to Virginia. I did middle school in New York and Virginia. Then I did high school in Virginia and Maryland. So yeah, it's been a lot.
So
Single
is
parent
your family
household.
in Maryland?
My aunt was in Maryland. Yep. So I
Okay.
went out there for a while and did some high school there in Maryland. And so, yeah, raised by a single mother who is absolutely phenomenal, who has taught me how to be a real world changer. She was a real world changer before I ever started changing the world. And I
Yeah.
say that she's an educator, she's a preacher, she's licensed and ordained minister. She can sing like nobody's business. And so she has taught me how to love. Right. And so growing up, I would see my mother really just, I mean, our house would be full of children from the church and she braiding everybody's hair, right? Or her
Mm,
students, she's taking students who have no families, no parents, and they're going to the circus with my brother and I on the weekends, right?
mm,
And so that's the type of mother she was. Soup kitchens on the weekends, right, at the church. And so I mean, I've seen my brother give a leather coat, brand new leather coat, I'm talking about hundreds of dollars, $300 leather coat, to a homeless person that he saw and knew was
mm,
homeless, right? So
mm,
that's the kind of stock that we knew to come from. My brother has a
mm,
lot of things that he's battling with, and but we come from that type of cloth. That's a giving cloth, a cloth that's to
mm,
share, right? It's a shareable. It's a wash, rinse, and repeat, type of cloth. And so yeah, that's who taught me how to be this person. And when people meet me, most people that know me know my mother, because growing up she was at everything, right? She never
okay.
missed a beat. She showed up. She used to substitute teach, right? And so in Hampton Roads area. And so a lot of people know her, but our personalities are so similar. Like it's my mom before it's my mom. Like I had
Mm,
a boss when I worked at Capital One in corporate. She was at Panera Bread around the corner from our job. And my
mm-hmm.
mom was in Panera Bread. And she had never met my mom, never saw a picture of my mom. And she heard my mom speaking and her mannerisms. And she said, "Do you have a daughter?" And
Wow.
and my mom was like, "Yeah, I do. Like, who's this white lady asking me questions?" Right. And so, but she's friendly too. So she said, "Is her name Jacqueline?" And I was like, should I be concerned? And she was like, I'm her boss. And she was my boss. And she knew that it was my mother because of
Wow.
how similar we are and our mannerisms are. So it was so interesting. And so I say all that to say that that's where I get that from. Like being raised in New York, you see so much, right? Like you see
Mm-hmm.
so many different things. And so being able to come from a diverse background like that and then move to Hampton Roads, which is diverse, but it's a little bit different, right? You come from a
Mm-hmm.
city lifestyle. It really helped position me to be everywhere and do the work that I'm doing today.
Right. Wow. So I hear community mom.
Yeah, she
right?
is. Everybody calls my mom mom. Everyone, even people that are like closer to her age, 40s, like you are 50.
Wow.
You no, hold on now.
I love it. I love the stock. I
So
love the stock you come from.
yes, thank
And
you.
so was the going to school back in New York, going to Maryland, Virginia? What was that? Just better education? Was it better
Just trying
environment? Was
to,
were you looking for something or just opportunity?
you know what? I think that's a great question for my mother. I should call her and ask her. But woo,
That's her story to tell. That's
um,
her story.
so I would say that what I think a lot of it was just being a single parent, trying to give me the best lifestyle that she could give me, but then also like in the same breath realizing that um like she also wanted me to be in community and with wanted me to be closer to my family and trying to like battle a little bit of the two. I think that's where that really came from, is like her just wanting to be present, um and wanting me to have that family life, but also
Mm-hmm.
realizing that like, hey, I need something different. Because when we when we really look at it, a lot of the people that I knew, or a lot of the people that when I was younger, it just New York, it was a safe space, but a lot of my areas where my family lived weren't the best areas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so that and by that being her goal is to put you in the best positions, so as you because that's what I'm hearing, the best position to get the best opportunities. But community would sound like it was important, and family was important. And so how do you get that perfect concoction? Sometimes you got to kind of move here, move there. That's something I try to explain to my daughter, who's 28 at this point. And it's like, oh, mom, we just feel like we just moved. I said, that just had to keep trying to find the best situation, you know.
Yeah,
It's like every time you're in one space, you feel like, okay, maybe this is good, but then you find a better opportunity. So why not do it, especially if you have the bandwidth, right, and the
that's right.
financial ability to do that. Unfortunately, many of our families, parents, especially single mothers in cases, were unable to do that. Don't have the bandwidth or the financial means or the support to do that, for our children. So, shout out to mom for being able to not settle, right? Not settle. Because I think a lot of us have what we could consider a valid excuse
That's
for
right.
allowing our seeds to be complacent and stagnant and just kind of getting what's available to them in that immediate facility. But then you have those that would push the limit and push the envelope to make sure that their child gets, the best of both worlds is kind of what I'm hearing. If I'm not getting that wrong.
Yes, no, I think that's exactly right. And I think like looking back at it, my mom, there I think, when I look back at it, I wish some days I wish I would have stayed in New York, but I also believe that you're exactly where you're supposed to be at the appointed time. Like when I try to like go backwards and be like, oh, I wish that I would have had this opportunity, or I wish I would have done this differently, or I wish I would have done that differently. It just
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's like God has you exactly where you need to be.
Because it's the godly timing is what
Yep.
what I'm saying. It's not our timing, no matter how fancy we think we are, right? It's God's timing. And so how was that for you? Did you was there anything that you might have appreciated more going to school in New York versus Maryland or Virginia that you could think of?
So I grew up going to private school
Okay.
in New York, and I think one of the things I wish is that I would have stayed going there at least until I finished 8th grade, right? Because there were a lot of opportunities that those kids had. Like they went to private
Mm-hmm.
school, um, they went to like they went to certain specialized schools and private schools and things like that. So then they went to like really good colleges, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I think that was one thing, that so sometimes I think about that, even though I really could have went to any college I wanted to, but I let people put limits on me. I let people put limits on me, tell me, oh, stay in state because of this. But I had over a 4.041 GPA, right, out of high
Mm-hmm.
school. So I could have went anywhere I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But I chose to let people limit me. And so what I've had to, and I've also chose to limit myself, right? Because I have to
Yeah.
take accountability. But I
Mhm.
think that people pleasing was something that I did a lot of. And so now, and the older I get, the less I people please.
Mm. Well, good for you because that seems to
Yeah,
be a
I'm
difficult.
trying.
I was gonna say just by the nature of the passion, right? It kind of can make you an easy target to be a people pleaser. And so yeah, good. Keep working on that, right?
Yeah,
Because
I'm
that.
working hard on it. It's something in this year. I mean, I turned 30 recently, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm it's starting to click more, right? They're not lying
Mm,
when they say at 30 something clicks, that hits different, because it does. And so I think yeah, like I definitely feel like I could have went to any college, like looking back. I mean, yes, New York, yes, all the state stuff was good. Was I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, I could have stayed in Virginia. I might have liked New York better, right? Like all those things could be factors, but reality is like when it came to college, I feel like that's where I really dropped the ball.
mm.
Yeah, because I
And so
started at
I like that.
JMU and I left, and then I went to Norfolk State.
Oh, okay,
Hmm.
okay. So I appreciate the accountability. So why do you think you limited yourself? You ever figure that out?
So I think that one thing that I've learned over time, and I've shared this with my mom, so I'll share this honestly, is that when you, when you see your parents have certain traits, they pass on to the children, even if it's unintentional, right? So like sometimes my mom can be insecure, right? And she's a little bit heavier. She struggled with her weight up and down, like right, or for a long time. And so sometimes she'll say things, or she won't speak to her, or she won't talk about herself in a kind way. And meaning
Mm-hmm.
that she might be like, oh, I don't want to take pictures. Like my mom would never want to take pictures because she didn't like the way she looked, right? And so at some point, even though you could tell me I'm beautiful a million times, but if I see my mother talk this way to herself, I might not feel that
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, even though I hear what you're saying. But if you think of yourself this way, right? Like it kind of passes insecurities and certain things. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like one thing my mom has done is limit herself because she's helping everyone else. And I think for me, it's like, well, if I limited myself because I wanted to help other people too, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, if I stay in Virginia, then in-state tuition, right? Instead of like, oh, I could probably get a scholarship to this place, right? And so I think it's always about sacrificing for other people. I think my entire life, that's what I've always done.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you may have it naturally. I was just sharing with someone on another line. We talk about things that are hereditary.
Yep.
Most times we only speak of diseases.
Yep. Yep.
We for some odd reason, it's very odd. Some odd reason we don't consider the many other things that are we inherit as well, right? And because we inherited from our loved ones,
Yep.
right? It's hard to put the fence up when you're young. Like,
Yep.
oh, nope, I don't want that. I
Yep.
ain't said nope. That ain't gonna be me. It's
Yep.
hard to do that when you're young because all you know is mom saying it, dad did it.
Yep.
So it's just they call it learned behavior, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I mean, growing up, like when I was a kid, I remember they used to
Uh oh, froze up. Wait, no one is this evening. Come on now. I don't think she knows she froze. Uh oh, I
call
don't.
my mom Fatty, right? That was my aunt's
Hmm.
name.
I think
Am I back?
you're back. You froze
Okay.
up. So
I
I don't
did
know
it.
what.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what technology. Boy, I tell you, I think the last thing you were saying because you kind of cut off and came back in. You were speaking. We were still talking about projections, basically, right?
Yes,
And you
yes.
mentioned growing up, and I think it might have had something to do with your mom's weight. You were speaking on that.
Yeah, like they had a nickname for her, right? And they would call her
Uh,
this nickname. My mom be like, "Stop calling me that," right? Like, and so it was a thing that it was just my aunt would do it, but reality is like those things you end up like taking those on, right? Or like my dad used to call me Chubbs as a kid, and I was chubby, and so I didn't like that name. But people will call you
mm,
things, and so you have to set that. Like, hold on, wait a minute. Like now, I'm Jacqueline, right? That's what I expect you to call me, right? Like,
mm-hmm,
yes, Jack, people call me Jackie, but overall, when I introduce myself, my name is Jacqueline now, right? Because now
mm-hmm,
so this is how you respect me, and
mm-hmm.
so I think you have to set that boundary with
Yeah,
people.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, and I think the unfortunate part for us as children is that I don't think we have the capacity as children to reject it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't think
Mm-hmm.
we have the capacity or understanding to rebuke it.
Yep. Yep.
We're innocent and we're just kind of taking
Floating.
on everything that's in the air in our environment.
Yep.
That's where the whole term of us being considered innocent comes from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not having the ability to say, okay, I know that's what they do with him or with her, but not with me. And I
That's right.
also think it becomes that disrespectful word begins to be used against us when we get to a certain age, where now we understand and have the
Mm-hmm.
capacity to understand and say,
Mm-hmm.
you know
Mm-hmm.
what, I'd rather you not refer to me as that.
That's right.
Now you're the
That's right.
disrespectful child, right?
Mm-hmm. Oof.
um and so yeah, so I can totally understand that. And so okay, but you did it, you kind of got what you got at all the different schools that you went to. Why did you stay in Virginia?
I asked myself no. Ooh.
Good question, I just
You
all the time.
you know what? When I so Um, why did I say Virginia? I have a lot of love for Virginia. Virginia helped raise me. It helped me become who I am today, right? Like I learned a lot in Virginia. I went through a lot here in Virginia. I mean, there when I first moved to New York, I hated this place. I mean, first moved from New York, I hated this place. They wanted to jump me
Mm,
for making straight A's on the bus. I'm like, what kind of kids are these? Okay. But so I went through a lot of things in Virginia, but it became a second home for me.
mm,
However, I never really fit in Virginia because everybody have their cliques. Everybody from here, everybody
mm,
from like it's very clicky in Virginia. Whether people like to admit it or not, it is very clicky here. So you never really fit in. But the good thing
mm.
about me, I've never been supposed to fit in. God never made
That
me to
part.
fit in. That's why I'm who I am, and people are who they are, right? And so, and I think staying in Virginia after I graduated from Norfolk State, actually it's funny because once I graduated, I started doing like campaign work and stuff. I was working in the shelter, but I started doing campaigns. I worked at Capital One. I left Capital One, the movement, all the things happened. And so I ended up going to Raleigh and I worked the campaign, but then I got a job in Richmond. And so that's the only
Mm,
reason that I ended up staying. Like I'm still in Richmond is because I got a job in Richmond that I'm no longer at, but I got this job and I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll try Richmond. And so I've
mm.
been there for now 3 years. And so I just was having a conversation with my friend. I was like, oh, yeah, it's time to go. It's
Oh
time to
yeah.
go. I know in my spirit when I'm ready to go and ready to move on.
Mm,
Not because you plant seeds places, right? Because ultimately my goal is to build real world changer, to become a global name, right? To be able to offer the services I have and the skills I have and the impact and teach other people how to do what I do. But also to plant those seeds so ultimately you can come back and sow more.
right. Exactly. And that's expansion, right?
Yeah.
You got to get out of what could be comfortable or what could
Hmm.
simply just be
I've
normal.
gotten too comfortable. I'm like,
Mm,
it's time. It's
mm.
time.
Okay, so you say you start canning paint. So was that a goal for you in school, that this is what I'm going to do?
No.
Okay.
It's funny because my goal was to go to law school. That was my
Oh.
goal. And in 2020, I started a law school in Virginia Beach, and I left because we didn't have the same beliefs. I'm not gonna let you sit here and tell me systemic racism doesn't exist, and I just spent 22 hours in jail for Breonna Taylor with 86 other people. Okay, you won't tell me that, and I won't allow you to. I will not believe that. Right? Should I have maybe
Mm-hmm.
stayed and gotten my degree? I would have been a lawyer by now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like that if God wanted me to stay there, I would have stayed, right? Like it would have just been easy to do so. And I think that no matter what decision or what place you are in your life, it's more so because that's where God needs you to be. If nothing
Mm-hmm.
happens without Him allowing it, then I have to trust that every mistake I make and every step that I make is ultimately leading me to the plan that He has for my life.
Absolutely. That's what they call alignment, right?
Yep.
Like you can't get into alignment
Yep.
unless you're already out of alignment, right? And
Mm.
so,
Oof.
okay, so hold on, back up. So you said you were in law school, but then you
Hmm.
also mentioned about being locked up for. So it
Yes.
already has started. I just want to make sure we got to move it too fast.
Sorry. Let me slow down. Tell me where I'm supposed to be. Put me in my place. Look,
No, it's
redirect my
okay.
path.
I'm here. I'm listening. I'm listening. Okay, so what was so it wasn't the ultimate goal. We get that. That wasn't the objective. This is what I'm going to do. When do you recall getting the first inkling that, okay, I need to do more for my community? When did that thought? When was that
My
dream manifested?
my entire life. When I was 6 years old, my cousin Chanel will tell anybody that I
Mm.
said, I am going to help those who cannot help themselves. That's what I was telling people at 6 years old. So they always knew I was going to be a lawyer. So for me not to be a lawyer, that
Mm.
is like so shocking to my family because they knew that I was always caring about people and always like wanting to do this work. So my entire life I've been this person. I mean, when I was in elementary school, my granddad, his memory's really bad now, but he told me a few years ago, he talked about this before he started kind of declining, and he was like, I'll never forget that day I picked you up and all the kids was outside of the school. This is at Fulton Elementary School in Hempstead, New York. And he says, I came and picked you up. It was like they was having a group meeting around you. And it was because I was trying to convince them to help to fight with me so I could go on a school field trip because I was the youngest in the crew. But so I couldn't go technically, but I was the youngest, but I was in the classes with them. So I was like,
Okay.
no, that's not fair, right?
Yeah, that's
And
worth the
so in
petition.
at Fulton Elementary School, I was already maneuvering in that mindset. And so early in life, I knew that I was going to be someone who made good trouble. Early,
Mm.
like, I mean, early in life, I knew that I would be that person.
So was there ever an incident where you being you got you in trouble in
Oh, all
school?
the time. All the time. I mean, all the time. Um I was always because so I used to work in the office in high school. I worked in the office like because I didn't have a fourth block or fourth period, so I would work in the office, and so I'd always get someone out of ISS. I'd always be like, "Go ahead, let me give you a pass, right?" and get people in class. So because I knew what would happen. In middle school, I started a petition at Oscar Smith Middle School in Chesapeake, Virginia. I had a petition circulating because they had changed the rules, and they were like, oh, there were so many fights in the school cafeteria that they were like, we're having assigned seating in the cafeteria during lunch. I'm like, hold on. And I still have the petition. I wish I was home. I would show you. And it had over 400 signatures of people saying, hey, I don't like that these are the new cafeteria rules. We're eighth graders. We shouldn't have to sit in assigned seating. And so that was changed as well. And I had educators even signing this petition because I knew the importance at a young age of democracy.
Mm, mm-mm. Eighth grade,
Eighth grade. That was in eighth grade.
over 300
Yep, that was in eighth grade.
children and
I
educators.
still have the petition.
Wow. You
Hmm.
should frame that. I said children and educators.
Yeah. Children and educators, staff members, like and I still kind of keep in touch with one of my middle school teachers from sixth grade. She's now a principal at a school in Virginia Beach, but we even went to get lunch together maybe a year ago. And she's somebody that knew me in sixth grade, but because over the years, people see you
Mm-hmm.
grow. And so that's the great thing about social
Wow.
media.
I love it. You should frame that. You literally should frame it.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's like paper,
Oh,
it's pen and
yeah, yeah,
paper.
yeah.
We didn't have all this auto sign and docu sign and stuff when I was in middle school even.
And so,
So
okay, so you were what you said, good trouble. That's what you called it. Good
good
trouble, good
trouble.
trouble. I like
Yes,
that.
yes,
And
yes.
so, and I think that's kind
John
of what we said a
Lewis,
little
good
earlier,
trouble.
right? About how you kind of you can be making a difference in so many other ways. It doesn't have to be one way. And so, even though
That's right.
ultimately your primary goal was to become an attorney, right? You wanted to be a lawyer to do the things you're doing, but for whatever the reasons
Mm-hmm.
were, which I would consider possibly, alignment. That's just another area where
Yep,
God, wanted you, and I
that's
think it
right.
was a tailor-made position for you. Then I think you're more suitable over here, and so you're still doing the work, if not more, because it could be a lot of shackles, and we don't get too much into it. Our oldest
Yeah.
GW graduate, so we're not gonna get too much into it. But yeah, so I
Okay, got you.
understand
Yep,
getting uncomfortable in that space because it's almost like
that's right.
you have to allow them to brainwash you.
Yeah, yeah, and I can't be. I've never been a person that you could just say, "Oh, the sky's green." I'm gonna believe you. No,
Hmm.
wrong person.
Hmm. So, how did your family respond to that? Did you get a lot of pushback when you decided to leave, or was it something you just did on your own right and you kind of kept it to your chest, or what was that like?
You know what? When I left law school, it was a lot of stuff that was leading up to it. So my mom knew that I was
Oh,
gonna.
okay.
She knew. She wasn't too dis. She was. My mom is very supportive. sometimes she has very good discernment.
Okay.
She prays, she fasts, she's always fasting and praying. So I think looking back, and I really haven't thought much about this in a while, to be honest. But I think ultimately my mom just wanted me to be
Hmm.
happy. Like I think she just knew she wanted me to be a lawyer still. She just told me, "Are you going back to school next year?" And I'm like, "Yeah, girl, I'm working on it." Okay. Oh, I ain't studied for one test, but I'm working on it. Um, and so I think that it was very much supportive. I think like just overall with the work that I do, my family, I'm not close with my family as I want to be anymore. I think like the I think what I've had to accept about family, friends, people, is that everybody is not on the level of understanding or care that you have for a
Hmm.
certain thing, right? Um, However, my job is to educate, and that's
Hmm.
that, right? And leave it, and that's some water, some
Exactly.
plant, but God gives the increase. And that's how I look at my family and my friends. I have one friend, my friend Sierra. She wasn't a big protester into certain things, but honey, she'll tell you real quick, my friend, no, my friend does this, and no, 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 that is incorrect information, right? Like so she will, hold on, girl, wait, hold on. This was said. Is this, did you see? Right. So she'll
Hmm.
follow up, and she's really passionate about getting the answers. But a lot of the people that I talk to the most are people that are in the movement or I've met along the way, traveling
Hmm.
from country to country. I mean, from state to state. Oh, I'm speaking
Yeah,
that
yeah.
country to
Thank you.
country. Yes,
Receive.
Lord.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord. But I think that overall, everyone's in a different place in their life and what they can handle, what they're interested in. Now, do I feel like, yeah, I could reach out to my family more? Absolutely. But I also feel like I'm one on
Yeah.
one. Like, ain't nobody in my family doing what I'm
Hmm.
doing, like as far as social
Yeah, yeah.
justice and impact that way, right? People have businesses and money and this and that. But as far as like working on political campaigns, I don't know anyone in my family that
Hmm.
does that. So, or anyone who was trying to go to law school per se, I don't really know
Hmm.
anyone in my family that was doing certain
Hmm.
things. So, it's still trying to figure that out and really praying about how do I have, I told myself I was going to rent like a big Airbnb and just bring all my family
Hmm.
to it and let's sit both sides of the family, right? Like both sides of my family and say, "Hey, let's talk.
Hmm.
Let's talk."
Guilty. I've been contemplating something like that for a few years. Rejection
Cuz
doesn't
it's
feel
just
good. Number one.
rejection is God, it's protection and God's
Thank you. Say that
redirection though. And
again
that's what
for
I
the
do
people in the
know.
back. Yes. Hmm.
Rejection is protection and God's
Yeah.
redirection.
So I kind of feel you. Kind of. I definitely feel you when it comes to that. But it just reminds you of the scripture. And I think sometimes it's misinterpreted. A prophet's not received in his own home. And I think a lot of the misinterpretation or lack of understanding is we think that, oh, they don't receive me, they don't believe in me. I
Hmm.
think it's a little more in depth
Hmm.
than that. I think it's more so tied into
Hmm.
the idea of understanding that there's a mission beyond
Mm.
this house, this town.
Yeah. People be like, "Why are you here and there?" And it's stuff going on in Norfolk. Because guess what? God got somebody in Norfolk that's doing that. God got somebody here, but what I'm doing is different, and what I can offer you is different. And God didn't tell me that I wanted to be a real Norfolk changer, a real Virginia changer. He gave me real world
Mm-hmm.
changer. So that's what I have to trust, right? Is that's where He wants me to
Mm-hmm.
go. I'm in Davenport, Iowa right now,
Exactly. The
but send me, I'll go.
mission. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was mad when I got here too, because I was like, I'm lied to. They told me this. And God's like, and the more I complained, the more God, conviction I began to feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I'm grateful for your bravery, right? Because it's not an easy thing to do.
Thank you.
And most of us want that comfort. We want that formality of familiar faces and familiar places. And a lot of times, I'm gonna talk about myself. I I'm a firm believer that sometimes the reason why you're sent out is because staying here will shrink you. You'll just keep shrinking. You'll just keep dimming. You won't bloom. You won't blossom. You won't evolve. You won't mature in certain aspects.
That's
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So
That's
I do
right.
believe that too. It's not always a jealousy, hater, dysfunctional trauma. It's not
Yep.
always
Yep.
all of that. A lot of times,
Yep.
simply
Somebody said if you
purpose
plant a
driven.
seed, do you watch
Hmm.
it? Do you stand there and watch it grow, or do you wait for it to water and
Hmm.
grow?
Exactly. Exactly. So, okay. So all your life, this has been you. This is how you move.
All
So
my
when was the
life, I promise
decision
you.
made that campaigning, frontlining is exactly what I'm going to do? Was it something you just jumped in doing, or was it like a thought out plan? You wrote it out, and like, what was that?
So in 2013, I went to James Madison University, and a lot of people don't know this about me, except unless you went to JMU.
Come on, man. Stop it, internet. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it, internet. Mm-mm. I don't hear you. I don't see
Can
you.
you, can you hear me?
Yes. Are your bars low? Your internet
But I
bars
can't
low?
hear you. Hold on.
I can hear and see you. Come on, internet. Not this evening. You're not doing this evening.
But I can't hear you.
You still
What's
can't
going
hear me?
on? No, wait.
Let me see.
What is happening here? Lord, have mercy. Come on, Jesus, fix it.
I can hear you. I can see you.
I
Maybe
can't
it.
hear anything.
No. Go back out.
What just happened? I just was hearing you just fine. Let's
I'm
see.
gonna let you. I'm gonna take you out, and I'm gonna let her come back in.
And here, Lord, have mercy.
Okay, I just want to make sure I was still on. Okay.
Sound again. Thank you, Lord. I don't know what that was about.
I took you out just to see if that would
Oh,
help
that was
refresh
so
it.
weird.
Because I
I'm
was
so
still
glad we got.
hearing and seeing you, but I don't know why you couldn't hear and
Yeah,
see
that was
me.
weird. That was really weird. I'm
It's
so
trying to
sorry.
interfere. We're not
I'm
having that.
telling you, the
We're
devil is
not.
a
We're not. Clear the
liar.
airways. Stop playing. Clear the airways. Clear the airways.
Woo.
So you were talking about you went to
JMU, yes.
JMU, yeah.
I went to JMU and in 2013, and so around that time, I was 17 years old, and I went because that's just what it is, people.
Mm-hmm.
And so what ended up happening was I was up there and I was organizing because there were students who were feeling very disappointed by how black students, black and brown students specifically, about how they were treated on campus, how the football team would be treated during the loss. And so I began to organize there. So if you actually Google, which people don't know about me, like I've been an organizer, right? It didn't just happen in 2020. Like I just had other things going on in my life that made me pivot for a while, but I was still this person. I mean, I was doing this in 2013. So if you look up minorities at Madison, the hashtag, you'll see articles that I wrote for the JMU Breeze, the school
Oh wow.
newspaper, and all those things. But in 2020, yes, of course, we saw George Floyd, we saw all those things happen. And I just was like, I said, I'm going to Kentucky. It was an action that Until Freedom was doing. And I said, you know what? I'm going to Kentucky. I ain't never been to Kentucky a day in my life. But I was like, I'm going because they killed Breonna Taylor. So I'm going. And so me and this girl that I had never met, she was just kind of following some of the work I was doing on social media. She went with me. But prior to that, I just said one day I just got angry and I just sent a flyer out, sent a text out saying, "Hey, we meeting at this location. Tell everybody." And so we went to the old statue in Norfolk, Confederate statue that they've teared. It's not there anymore. But we went down to the old statue and we marched. And the Virginia Pilot covered me. They did a front page article about a young organizer who kept people from looting and rioting and this, that, and the third out on Granby Street. And so,
Wow.
but it was more so like I'm just fed up. And then so by that time, I was like, I quit my job at one point. I was at Capital One. I was like, I'm tired of this because when I went to jail, they sprained my wrist, they sprained my arm. Something they injured me in prison, and so I was like, you know what? After I was still mobilizing, teaching people doing this, I was like, I'm out of here. And I just left. I put my 2 weeks notice in and I was like, I'm done with this. I had no plan, but I knew that I couldn't do it anymore. I had to keep going on the path I was going. And that's what I did.
So it sounds like it's that same conviction that you got from law school. Like, yeah, different way, possibly, like different circumstances. It just sounds like this interruption in your spirit. Like,
Yep.
no.
Yep.
And you're 17?
I was 17 when I left JMU, when I started at
Okay.
James Madison. And then in 2020, 2016, so that was about, I must have been like 20 years old when I started at Norfolk State. Yep, in
Okay.
Capital One, because I was working there and I remember turning 21. I turned 21 right after I started at Capital One, like around the time I was
Okay.
yep, I was about 20 years old when I really started getting deep
But
into
the
this. And
writing and everything started at 17
the
when you were doing like the different articles
Yeah,
and
that was
writing.
when I would say, yep, I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's when it really started. And then by 2020, which was 6 years ago, so I was about 24, is when I really started with the Black Lives Matter, like, well, technically the Black Lives Matter movement, right? But
Okay.
in 2013, at 17 years old, that's when I really just started writing and doing these articles and things like that. Yep. But even in high school, like I was senior class vice president. I beat out a 3-time incumbent, right? Like I just came in there swinging. I was like, and beat her, a white woman. Okay.
Mm,
And so they couldn't believe I beat this girl. And I was like, yeah, I'm coming in. We
I
done
know
with
that's
this.
right. Because it
So
sounded like you had already owned it. You
yeah,
had
I was like,
already
I'm done.
identified,
Yep.
right? Maybe not specifics, but you identified what was in you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
time you just keep letting that lead you, and that's
Yep.
how you're evolving more, and expanding more is what it sounds like. Because I think that kind of leads to that, right? Um, so when you went to Kentucky, was that the first, like your first boots on the ground national type of rally situation,
That
or
that would have been the first time I traveled to
the
do that
outside of,
type of work
okay,
outside of like Virginia area, I would say, or like DC.
okay.
It was the first time I had went somewhere like, yeah, that was the first time I did something like that. Yep.
And so
Doing
this is you
national.
and a woman that just was
Concerned, fed up,
concerned. And so y'all go
mad.
there. So come on, tell us about that. So y'all go there, and so what? Well,
Ooh.
how was that?
We go there and everybody's telling us where everybody is, which is Breonna Taylor Park. That's what I knew from the research I had done. So I just pulled up to Breonna Taylor Park where I heard the protesters were. And I met this guy named Jeff, and we are still friends to this day. Like I called him this morning. He ain't called me back. So if he's watching this. But I went out there, I introduced myself, I just let people know I was here for a direct action, and that was that. And then the next day I went to jail. And so they had told us before we did the march, this is nonviolent, right? And what people
Mm-hmm.
mistake is like peaceful and nonviolence. I am not peaceful. I'm rowdy. I'm about that
Mm-hmm.
action, but I am not violent. And those are two
Mm-hmm.
different things, and people misinterpret the two.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dr. King was nonviolent, but it was nothing peaceful about disrupting their businesses and their streets. That wasn't peace. That wasn't peace.
Mm-hmm.
That was nonviolence, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so when we got out there, we sat on that lawn, the Attorney General's lawn, we sung, we chanted, we did all the things. But honey, they was ready to take me to jail because I'm a big mouth. That megaphone, I don't even need the megaphone because I'm a chant and I'm gonna keep going. And I don't get tired of doing this work. Like I don't get tired
Mm-hmm.
of say her name. I don't get tired of chant. And they like conserve your energy, and I'm gonna still chant because I'm gonna be okay. I know, right? And so they loaded us up in paddy wagons, cuffs locked on wrists, honey. And we had plastic zip ties around our wrists. Mine we had plastic zip ties, but my zip ties weren't really tight, so I was able to record a lot of that. That's why you see a lot of that paddy wagon footage
Mm.
because I
I
was
was
able
definitely
to
trying to
slip
figure that part. I was
out of
like,
my
how is?
back pocket, honey. I
I
had
thought
my
you guys
back.
were probably locked, wrist to wrist, and then.
So they
Mm.
did do that to us. Once we got to the garage of the Jefferson County Jail, they put us all. Some of us, there were so many. It was 86 of us. They ain't never arrested that many people at one time ever, right? So you got to think they didn't even have places to put us. So
Mm-hmm.
some people where they had them in seats chained to the metal like the fence, I'll say, like the metal
Mm-hmm.
fencing type of material.
Mm-hmm.
But then the rest of us were sitting on the floor and we were chained like slaves, literally in rows like slaves. You on one side, you're chained this way, I'm chained that way. And so because of how they chained me, which was the opposite of every way else,
Mm-hmm.
that's how my wrist got sprained. But
Oh.
so they did end up and so we were in there for I was in the last group that came out, 22 hours. Uh there was no extra water, right? Like the food was horrible. We had like people rolling up their turkey and cheese sandwiches and playing, like going bowling with them, right? There was some screaming, there was some crying, there was arguing, right? People ain't never been in jail. And we were
Mm-hmm.
in this small cubicle and they had about 35 of us, 30 of us in the cell block. Right. So it was overpopulated, people on the floor, people, they did give us blankets when we came in on a little cup with a toothpaste, toothbrush, right? Those things. And then of course, there was an open toilet that people could see. And, there was one young lady, she was on her cycle and They didn't give her tampons, they didn't give her pads. She just bled through, and they wanted to take
Oh my God.
her blankets, and they're like, no, 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 no. She's not going out there with blood all over herself. So it was just very, it was a reminder of how the system is. We didn't get new masks, and it's the peak of COVID. They didn't give us new masks. Our mask was ripped, torn down, torn apart. They did not care. And
Mm.
so, and one thing about jail is like you have no concept of time when you're in that cubicle, right?
Right.
So we're in there for 22 hours. It feels like you've been in there, you've been there for 12 minutes, and it feels like you've been there for 10 hours. And
Mm-hmm.
so, there was prayer, there was singing, there was rap, poetry, there were so many different things going on, but it gave you a new perspective, because if that's how they treat me in one day, ooh, oof, I'd hate to be someone in there for multiple. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so that's why one of the reasons why I spent so much time visiting the prison in the last couple of years, the last year.
Mm. Do you remember certain thoughts you might have had during that time in there? Like, did it make you more angrier? Was it disgust? Was it sadness? Like, do
I
you
think it was
remember?
all of the above. I think it was really
Gotcha.
all of the above. I think the one, having to call my mom, right, and be like, here, have her hear that call. And so she was in North Carolina, I'll never forget. And it was like, you can hear what it's telling them on the phone. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is, you have a call from Jefferson County Jail, right? And so my brother's the troublemaker typically, no lies told. Everybody knows. So me, it's like, Jefferson County Jail, who in Kentucky, right? And so, and then my mom, so she kind of like froze, and my cousin had to kind of talk, like hold, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
get the information. And so, um, I think one of the thoughts was just like, when am I going to get out? What if they keep us in here? How long are we going to be here? Right? All those thoughts started running through my head. What does this look like? Is this going to be
Right.
on my record? Right? Because you're thinking about all those things. I mean, obviously, when you're first doing it, you're doing it because you care and you want to. But
Right.
when you got to sit
And then
and
the
think about the
reality
fact
kind of set in.
that it sets in, bad. So I think it was a little bit of all of those things.
So after that ordeal, what can you recall? Like, because sometimes you can go through all of those emotions, right? And then once you're back home and you're back in the comforts of your own space, you kind of get the journaling sometimes, or you kind of get the, like, did you go in some type
Yeah.
of zone? You're like, okay, I got to do more, or maybe I should back off, or like, was there any hesitation, or did it refuel you? Like, what do you think that did for you?
I think it just put a battery in my back, as they say. It just made me want to do more and continue doing the
Mm-hmm.
work, right? I think when I came back, people felt like it was some type of heroic gesture that had happened or deed that
Mm-hmm.
I had done. And for me, it was more so like, dang, I spent more time in jail. All of us combined spent more time in jail than the murderer's ever going to spend in prison of Breonna Taylor. And so
Mm-hmm.
that was enough to be like, yo, this is, this ain't getting easier. This ain't getting better.
Mm-hmm. So did you ever face any type of racism younger, or did you see any injustice like in your neighborhood that kind of added to this passion of change? Or
You know, I've had some teachers who I always felt like, maybe you're racist, maybe you don't like me that I'm smart and black. That could be a thing. Maybe, like, like it was always
mm-hmm,
like, put your hand down, or oh, like, right, because I was ahead of my classes. I was always ahead of the class in the grade I was supposed to be in, and so I was like, is it race or is it this, right? Like, which one is it? And so I kind of struggled with that and identifying that, but I knew that I was being treated differently.
mm-hmm,
So it was like that quiet racism, not that, oh, you're a nigger, right? But it's a, we're gonna treat her funny. We're gonna put her in the back of the line. We're gonna make her
mm-hmm,
feel like an outcast in the classroom.
mm-hmm,
So that was one of the things. You know, I'm trying to think of like the first. I gotta call my mom and ask her, like, was there an encounter that I had as a kid that really like pushed me? But I know like New York was so diverse growing up. So a lot of the things that, I saw, some of them were in Virginia more so.
mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to think of a one super instance where it was like, yeah, they're racist. Oh wow. I don't know. I'm trying to that's that question always, every time someone asks me that, I'm like, what was the
Because
opportunity?
I wondered that, because you kind of hear people's stories, right?
Yeah.
That's in
I
that
don't
movement, they have that passion. A lot of times it's because they witness something happen to someone that dear to them, or they, encounter something
I
personally, or.
mean, my brother has been in and out the system. He's had some experiences with cops, right? But then I also know like that just my lineage, like the my a loved one, great loved one down the line in Alabama, they had their model. What's the Model T Ford that
Hmm.
everybody had? That was the first like Ford truck they made. His got set on fire by the KKK, right? Like I know that that happened in Alabama. So things like that, when you
Just
know
knowing and being aware of what happened, huh?
right. But I've always just been a person. It's not really an incident. It's just like, is that right? Is that wrong? Is that love? Is that what the Bible tells me love is? Is it not? Right. So I always think about life and instances about just, is it right or wrong?
Hmm.
Right. Like, is it, some things are black and white, some things aren't. But for
Hmm.
me, mostly it's more so just been like, I stand up because don't do that. It's not the right thing to do. Right. And it's more so just like what's in you, they can't take away.
Right. So, are there any black activists, past or present, that you look up to, that you follow, that kind of have been planting seeds and watering over the time?
You know what? They gave me a lot of people know me as Angie, and that was given to me in the movement because they said I remind them of a young Angela Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a lot of respect for her. One of my favorite books is Freedom is a Constant Struggle. And so I will say she definitely is such an inspiration um, when I look at just the our history, and just as a woman, just stepping into her power, and Afeni, right? Like all those folks, Afeni Shakur, those folks were
Mm-hmm.
Asada and Afeni, and they were great, right? They did all this. They just stood,
Yeah.
even when it didn't feel good. So I would say like those are people. I mean, they're kind of like there, and I had to say Angela Davis. I know it's like, oh, she's so known, but it's like that's where Angie
Mm-hmm.
came from. That's why you
Right.
see a lot of the Angie stuff, that name Angie, because during the movement it was so, and the movement, I don't want to say during the movement because we're still living in that time, but we know that things have changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Society has done a 180, and so but it was so dangerous. Like people
Yeah.
sent doxing you and putting your address online. And because my mom's address always came up, I was like, oh no, I'm not letting, they gave me that name, Angie. I didn't pick
Mm-hmm.
it. It was given to me.
Okay.
But what I will say, another person who really like, I really love and respect within this space is Angela Rye. I just
Mm.
finished doing her professional development program and got my certificate, just completed that a few weeks ago.
Congrats.
And thank you. And I really have a lot of respect for her because she's honest. She is honest. She tells it like it is. She stands by what she says. And she has learned how to use her platform to really
Yeah.
elevate and push people to think
Mm-hmm.
differently, to liberate minds.
And I'm just really typing in questions, just to, not typing in questions, but taking
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
So I asked you that because I wanted to know which ones you kind of looked up to. Um, Angie's definitely one of my favorites. But not but. So do you ever, honestly, um, see the path that she took, the outcome, um, the legacy, the staying legacy in some aspects? Does that
Mm-hmm.
ever like intimidate you to continue on? Because essentially, the idea is not just to destroy the leader, but destroy the leaders to come, right? Make examples out of people, sort of thing. So, do you ever face a struggle of fear? Like, are
No.
you ready to die for the movement?
Am I? Yes. Do I want to? Absolutely not. I don't want to be a martyr. That's
That's
not my
different.
goal.
Yeah.
I look at some people and I feel like that's exactly what you want, right? You want to
Mm-hmm.
be a martyr for the movement, and you put yourself you position yourself so that you can appear to be a martyr to the movement. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that sounds crazy, but it's like some people, they want to be the leader so bad, or they want to be seen so bad in
So
this
bad.
work, and that's what messes people up. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
in this
Mm-hmm.
space is when you want to be seen, they see you all right,
Mm-hmm.
and that opens up the floodgates for other things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, am I afraid? No. No. and I won't be. Like, I don't really, I just know. I just know I don't have fear. Like, I have fears. I'm afraid of
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
but
yeah. I hear
I
you.
am not afraid to do this work. I'm not afraid to fight. I'm not afraid to stand up for what's
Hmm.
right. And there's nothing that you can do or say that'll make me say, oh, well, like, I'm not gonna. I was working a job. When I got laid off, when I moved to Richmond, I was working a job. And I know that a part of why they let me go is because of my political views. But it didn't make me change them because they were in bed with people like Aaron Rouse, right? They were in bed with folks that those were, and I'm not saying anything's wrong with Aaron Rouse or right with him. I'm simply saying that I had spoken up about things that I didn't like about that I
Mm-hmm.
noticed about him or like Pharrell during the Donovan Lynch stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very and still am very outspoken about those things.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, I feel like once they realized that that wasn't going to shift or change, they were
That's
like,
when
this
they
is a
just let.
problem.
Yeah.
That's when they were like, oh, we're going to let you. They didn't have a reason, but God had prepared me for it.
What was there any type of indirect intimidation or indirect things being said to kind of test
They
you to see if
comment
you will
about
kind of shift your
pigs.
beliefs?
They made a
Mm-hmm.
comment about pigs and they were talking about cops and pigs and cops, and it was something I don't remember the what exactly what was said, but I didn't laugh at it. I didn't find it funny, and I told them I didn't find it funny, so they knew I wasn't shifting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't some things aren't funny.
Yeah. So I want to share this with you. My father, I always considered him a bona fide Muslim. He's
Mhm.
transitioned several years back, but he's a bona fide Muslim. So our household structure was Islamic.
Mhm.
There's nine of us. Well, there's not nine of us presently, but they
Mhm.
had my mother and dad had nine children, and myself and the youngest boy were the youngest of the two, the
Mhm.
youngest two. We didn't necessarily, well, let me just speak for myself because he got me by a few years. I didn't necessarily have to fully subscribe to it.
That's
So
got
I
you.
was never covered. I was
Mhm.
never, there's no images of me with it. And I'm not
Mhm.
saying yay or nay. I'm
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
explaining
Mhm.
the tradition. Like my other siblings, their last name were X, not legally, but
Mhm.
they were covered and all this. And so I can remember around maybe like 11 or so, maybe somewhere between 9 and 11. He used to speak so disrespectful and negatively about Martin Luther King. Now, mind you, I'm in school. You know what I'm saying? Like, you talking about that shit,
Mhm.
Jesus,
Mhm.
as far as
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
concerned, in school. And that, because my father was a very soft spoken guy. So he wasn't, there wasn't no rah rah that,
Right. Right.
He spoke when he felt absolutely necessary to speak, which made it so big for me. Because
Mhm.
he don't
Mhm.
just ramble and just talk about anything. And so whenever Martin Luther King would come out, he just would have these things to say. And again, meek, mild, soft-spoken guy, but he'll say things
Mhm.
like, "Oh, Martin Luther was the worst thing that ever happened to us. Integration was the worst thing that ever happened to us. Oh, you have no idea. Don't cross that bridge, Virginia. I'm DC native, okay? Don't cross that bridge. That was a law. Don't go to
Cross
Virginia
that bridge. Yep.
for no reason at all. Don't do it. You might not come back." And so that's the type of things I heard from when I
Growing
can
up.
remember regarding, and again, and I explained his beliefs because it was confusing for me. It's
That's
like,
right.
what are we talking about? Now, I didn't understand that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King didn't get along. I'm 9 or 10. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that there was some difference in them. I was a black man standing up for the people.
Which means what?
And
to,
so,
to him.
yeah. And so, you looking for your charger? Oh, you gotta plug it in.
Yep. Let me just move pivot. Sorry, I do
That's fine.
apologize.
That's fine. But yeah, I'll continue. And so, like, he would just say these things, and again, it will be really random. It won't be lectures. It won't be every day. It won't
But
be
they
for
would be.
hours. He'll just make
He'd
these
have a
very
moment.
strong, yeah, these very strong points, and he would give and he would do it in a way of giving me a history lesson. So let me be clear. He's not just lashing out. He's doing it in hopes to give me a history lesson. And the history
There we
lesson he's
go.
trying to give me is, because we're born and raised Washington D.C. Howard University, we owned all of that. We owned all of that, and so every time we do it, it will be a means to say we were great, and now we're not because of that. And I used to be so confused that now I'm a very vocal person, but when that was said, I just wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not even getting into that, right? Like
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
wouldn't
sit this one
even. I
out.
just couldn't get it, and I just wasn't. And I know because he was a man of a few words, it wasn't no sense of debating him or questioning him. Like, take it in, throw it me,
That's
throw it
right.
away the bones. But again, I don't really know. And so as
That's right.
time progressed, and then I started hearing these things as an adult, I'm like, that's what my dad was talking about. I literally never understood. Not to say whether I agreed or not. Just now I have a better understanding because now I'm old enough to,
That's right.
I guess
Yeah,
register
yeah.
what was
To
being said.
understand what he was how he felt and why he felt the way that he did.
Hmm. And so hearing that, I ask you, um, how do you feel about progression for us? What is your actual, like, authentic point of view on our progression as a people?
I think that history repeats itself, right? Like history just repeats itself. We have
Mm-hmm.
progressed, and we got a new president, and old president again who shouldn't have been reelected, right? And so we're seeing regression, right? Like we're
Mm-hmm.
seeing us go back with some of this voting stuff, right? And so I think that if we're teaching God's love, then Martin Luther King really just was trying to love his neighbor, right? Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he thought he was doing the right thing, and I think his intention was great,
Right.
but sometimes impact and intention are two different things, right? And I'm not saying it didn't have the impact it was
Right.
supposed to, because
Right.
he did amazing things. I ain't got a Martin
Yeah.
Luther King
Never
outfit, right?
knocking.
Like you
Yeah.
can't knock it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do think is that like um we are seeing every day that we are going backwards. We're banning books. We are really in a place in America that's just not that great. I think that because we're in this place that we are, it is imperative for us as a people to really take the time to build community, right? Those community gardens, those uh um those farms that people have created, those are things that we need to lock into. Those farmers markets that are black led, owned, buses, all these different things we're seeing, we need to lock into, because progression ain't progression right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not. It's really not. I think I wouldn't be mad at. Look, I loved my HBCU. I'll say that, right? So I wouldn't be mad if we were just in a place where we were segregated.
Mm-hmm.
But I also appreciate diverse perspectives and seeing
Mm-hmm.
different folks every day, and being able to meet new people, and learn other ways of living, right? And customs
Mm-hmm.
and traditions. So I think that um we do need to learn how to stick together. We do need
Mm-hmm.
to learn how to band up, right? And not just when one thing happens, but when everything happens, learning how to band up and trust each other, build trust in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that they had. They built trust with each other, right, back then. And so I think in order to progress and continue to progress, even while all this hell is breaking loose in our country, we have to build with each other. And I mean with each other. Black people build with black people,
Right.
right? And we got to stop. And I think we progress. One thing about progression I will say is like we do this thing as black people, is like we love people so much, and that we want to invite everybody to cookout. We have to stop doing that, right? We have to hold some things close to the chest. We don't need to put everything out there for everybody. The internet already gonna do it. But what do we keep to ourselves?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's this deep desire that we have. Like you show one sign, you bring them to the cookout, let them meet grandma, you know. And
Girl,
it's almost,
one dance. Sit your tail down.
yeah,
my
it's
my one of my staff said the other day, because we was talking about the cookout and different things, right? And she, this white girl, she goes, "Well, I want to be invited to the cookout." And I said, "Girl, you got to earn your spot."
yeah. But that part though, that part is almost like I don't know if we don't have the patience. if we don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's we don't make people earn
No,
their
we don't.
spot.
No, we
We
don't.
don't.
No.
And why do you think?
Because black people love, we just too nice. We're just
We're
too
just too
kind.
high.
We are just people. We having a cookout. You can come get a plate because that's how we are.
We're
That's
community people.
we
We're
are
community
community
minded people.
people naturally. I think we naturally just know that community is needed. We naturally
Mm-hmm.
see people and we're like, you know what? We should be working with these people. We see people and you hungry? Oh girl, come on over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it's in our nature to give almost.
And so it's almost like the very,
It's tied in our DNA
yeah,
to
I was
be,
gonna say it's almost like
you
the
know,
very nature of our being is,
everybody's not like that, we can say, but
yeah,
when I think about friends, I know the most hoodest guys in the, right, I know of so many different diverse people, and I'll tell you the same, my black hood ones and my black rich ones, if they have a cookout and they see somebody that's hungry, they gonna give them a plate.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just who we are.
It's
It's
just who we
like,
are.
it's just who we are. It's culture. It's the culture.
Yeah,
It's the culture.
yeah. So what are some of the things that you're doing that could help our viewers practice at home? Like, what are you working on? What are your people teaching? What level of input are you sharing with your community in, in your immediate space that
Yeah, so
we need to work on? Because I think also we're missing it because we're not a part of the campaign. We're not
yeah,
part of that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
So I think one of the biggest things I always encourage people to do or to remember is that whatever your gift is and your God-given talent might be, utilize that.
mm-hmm.
People think that you have to be the front end of the you got to be in the front forefront of stuff and be leading a march to be doing something, and that's not necessarily true, right? God, everybody couldn't have been a Malcolm and an Angela and a
Right.
Martin, right? Everybody wasn't a Huey P. Newton, everybody wasn't a Marcus Garvey, right? That's just what it was. Everybody
Yeah.
wasn't even a Rosa Parks or
Mm-hmm.
Colette Clark. What's her name? Colette.
Call it. Thanks for mentioning her. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Everybody was not that,
Yeah.
right? But there were people that were working on that back end to make sure that when they had that boycott, that people knew not to go.
Right.
Right there, so how can you use your talents, your gifts in order to build? I think that when you look at your skills, if you're an artist, hey, go create some murals in your city. Go
Mm-hmm.
create some murals that spread love and joy in your city, right? Go, if you are someone who is a writer, write things, send letters to your members of Congress, right? You can create scripts. If you're a writer, create scripts telling people what to write so that way people have a template so they know how to reach their member of Congress.
Mm-hmm.
If you are someone who likes to cook, there are houseless shelters where people need food.
Mm-hmm.
Go and make some meals and ask, can you volunteer and bring some meals for the week and set them up for success so they don't have to worry about where they're gonna how they're gonna feed 80 and 90 people. If
Yeah.
you are someone who babysits, find a mother in your community that is struggling with childcare so she can go to work and help her, right? If you have a daycare, give a discounted rate to that person. If you are someone who has a big van, take your elderly folks to vote. Take them to the polls, right? Those are things that we can do each and every day as
Mm-hmm.
people. If you know that someone has gone to court, support their family and show up to court. We take off PTO and use PTO for everything. Use an hour or 2 hours to go support an impacted family at court.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you can do, right? Everybody doesn't have to be a me or you, April.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody don't have to have a mic in their hand and say, "Hey, I'm
Right.
gonna interview somebody," right? Everybody doesn't have to tell the story. You can contribute to someone else's story, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I need merchandise done. You got a print shop, come print some shirts up for me, right?
Right.
Like, that's how you can be helpful, and so that way I can sell the shirts and reinvest the money back into the community instead of using my own money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because
Go
that's how we operated anyway.
barter
That's
system. Use your resources to help someone else. Stop trying to make everything about money. When we stop, do you know that I don't get paid for the work that I do with these families? I have never gotten paid to help a family who was impacted. I create documents and templates and press releases and all these things, and they are free of charge. I don't have a nonprofit.
Hmm.
It is just me saying, hey, I love these people and I'm going to show up because this is what I'm called to do. And I have this skill. So let me show you how to, let me give you a campaign template, a plan, an action plan. And
Mm-hmm.
what you do with it is on you. But that's
Mm-hmm.
about, I have the skills, so let me teach it. Now you also can say, hey, this young lady is doing all this work. I can pay her to come and teach an organizing class and teach people how, right?
Right.
Because I do train organizers. I teach people how to do what I do. I did a 3 week training for Phi Beta Sigma last summer. When I
Mm.
went back to work after my car accident, I did a 3 week training teaching them how to move from protest to policy, how to do this work, how to organize, how to mobilize, how to use the skills that are already within the Great Lakes region that's the region that they were focused on or from, and how to use the skills that y'all have right there and put them back into your community.
Yeah. Yeah. Because to your point, I think that's our biggest excuse. Well, what could I do? Ain't nothing I can do.
Give me your
I
money.
can't beat
That
the system
$10
because
on
we
that
think it's all
blunt.
about beating the system as an individual.
You spent $40 on the eighth, $35, $30. I don't know how much they are, but you spent that money on that eighth, and you could have gave it to that young lady to make sure she got to work for the week.
Mm-hmm.
That's help. That's impact.
That's impact.
That's impact. Right? I had a staff member yesterday. He didn't have any money. He said, "Listen, is there any way I can get a advance on my pay? Because if I don't have money, if I don't have get an advance, I won't be able to make it to work." So what did
Mm-hmm.
I do? I couldn't give an advance on his pay, but I gave him $20. Go get some gas so you can come to work tomorrow. Okay, that's community. That ain't
Mm-hmm.
from the company's card. That's out of my wallet
Mm-hmm.
personally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we all can play a part in
Right.
making change.
And to your point, this stuff is, I'm not gonna say it's simple and it's easy, but this is stuff that's, we're talking about what you're good at. We're not asking you to get up and go do
Learn
nothing
nothing.
outside of your natural potential and gifts. And you would think that because it's that simple in terms of obtaining, right, and offering and being accessible, that we would do it, right? And for some reason we don't. Why don't we? Why the woman that cooks won't think? I mean, of course, you don't have the actual answer. I'm really asking perspective, you
I
know?
mean, some people just don't care though. People don't care
Yeah.
about issues until they go through them, right? Like most people that advocate for people that have lost their loved ones to police violence didn't start until their loved one died.
Mm,
Right? It didn't take a George Floyd hit in my household to say, hey, I'm going to go and advocate. I pray it never hits my household. I tell my families all the time, I don't want to go through what you're going through. I
mm,
pray it never hits my house because the emotions that I feel just being connected to y'all are too much to carry.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
not you turn it off or turn it on and you work with a family for a day and say, oh, I'm done with them. It's a
yeah.
lifelong commitment.
And I think that's it. I think that's the issue with us collectively. It's the consistency of the commitment. Like I'll do it on Easter, I'll do it on Thanksgiving, I'll do it on this day and that day, but to do it all the time, most of us don't want to commit to doing it all the time. And I
And I
think
think
that's
it's a
why,
heavy load.
yeah, it's definitely a heavy load. It's not. That's why I said I don't want to say it's simple or it's easy, because it's definitely not by far, but it's necessary,
Absolutely.
And I think that's the part.
Necessary. And that's the word.
Yeah, I think that's the part that that's an issue for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can recall at one time, many years back, my husband and I, it's like we were going to the shelter. It was like we were ministering at a church. We went to the church, like, look, man, we got the shelter we go to. We were doing it as a family. We go there last Saturday of the month, that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We plugged in, easy, we can go there. And the minister told us, the pastor told us, that's not our ministry.
Mm.
So we must look at each other like, what? So that's not, he says, every church got their ministry. That's not our ministry. Okay,
Hmm.
cool. We'll keep doing it alone. So I just should have to say that some people actually
Hmm.
try to do things in larger scales, right, to involve and bring other people along. And sometimes you just each one reach one. You gotta do what you can do.
Listen, it's not gonna be like that all the time, right?
Most
Like
times it won't.
When I tell you, I was having this conversation with Roland Hill's sisters. He was killed in the Virginia Beach jail during a mental health crisis. They beat him to death. They killed him. They suffocated. It was terrible. And you know, they have not had a lot of support at court. Like I remember when I drove down from Richmond, it was like three of us in the courtroom outside of their family. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and I told them yesterday, I said, it's so hard to get people to show up. And I said, some families, they get, some cases you get so much support and some
Mm-hmm.
cases you don't. And I said a lot of it has, because it takes so long to, one, build the relationship with the community,
Mm-hmm.
but also because people just don't care. Like
Yeah.
it's not always going to be that everyone shows up, but the people that are supposed to be there will be there. And so that's how I've had to maneuver in my life moving forward. Because if not, or teach these families too, because if you don't, they will be disappointed
Yeah.
and heartbroken because they, what you think people should do, they don't always do.
Yeah.
And
And I think
so,
that unfortunately we become a very self-consumed society as well. I think that has a heavy impact on us being very selfish
oh
and
yeah,
careless, right? I think that it's almost like we just all for self. And I think that's kind of been the case for probably about 10, 15 plus years, where it's really just about me and mine, not even me and my family, me and mine. You
that's
know
right.
what I'm saying? And I think that that's a very unfortunate space we're in. I think it was very systematic to get us to this place. Because I think that, I ain't gonna say I think, I firmly believe that they, the system studied us, right? They already know what the core needs, desires,
That's
abilities,
right.
passions. So they knew, break up the family, break up the community. You know,
Yep.
it was for them. It was a quick fix for them. To break up the community, because that's the ultimate. That's what we gotta do. That's why the CIA was implanting every major individual. You didn't even have to be a leader. You could have been
That's right.
Michael Jackson. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
They're gonna make sure, because at the end of the day, the community is the problem.
That's right.
And the only way to dismantle this whole community idea in these people is to disrupt the immediate household.
Yep. Yep.
And that type of stuff pulls on my heartstrings when I begin to
Oh
understand the
yeah.
real work that they have done and still doing. Because it's like, no, you can't beat a system, but when you realize how strategic and intentional they were and are, you begin to understand why people don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because you realize at the end of the day, we not community no way. You say you're not close to your family, not family, my close. We all sit around, ain't nobody close with their family. They've already done the necessary work to keep you on the front line with yours, me not on the front, and we're not comparing in contrast a negative way, but to keep us from all being in this one space to do this one bid. You know what I'm saying? To work on this one campaign. I think that they found a way to disrupt that and dismantle that so that would not be the case. That's why you hear people say, "Oh, it's going to be no more," Selma marshes. There's going to be no more, it ain't going to be no more boycotts. And because at the end of the day, the community alone is there. There is no community.
That's
So
right.
that's why there's not going to. It's not because you don't have enough black people. And I may sound hopeless. So interject.
Well, I will say that it is hard. And I don't want to say we don't have community. I think the problem is we need to tap into our community, right? Like, and
Mm,
what I mean by that is your community your community is your neighbor, right? Like
mm-hmm,
community is the person that you live next door to. I know almost everybody on my hallway. At one point I knew everybody on my hall. Not
mm-hmm,
because I want to be in people's business or not because I need to, but I do know that sometimes life happens and people need somebody,
yeah,
right? Like people need somebody. People need
mm-hmm,
somebody. So guess what? You going to be that somebody to
mm-hmm,
show up. And so I think that for me, I'm not hopeless because I know that I move in a space of love, right? And so if
mm-hmm,
you know that you move in a space of love, then your love, you have to know that your love is going to run off on the next person. You have
mm-hmm.
to be confident that the love that you
That
will
it will
share
suffice. Okay.
will it will suffice. And so
Mm-hmm,
I try to have that mindset is like, hey, if I can, just like that each one teach one thing, it's like if I can radiate love, then that person
Yeah.
can consume some of it, and if they can
Mm-hmm.
consume of it, then they can start to give some of it
Give
out
it.
too.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so that's kind of where I like how I do my thinking. um that's kind of how I think, but I do think that this system is so messed up, and I do not even think, I know that it is, and I do believe that they are doing exactly what they want to do. They're ripping apart families, they are ripping them apart. They have done it for years, they're still doing it. And we see even some of these things with marijuana. Why are y'all still trying to put people in jail for weed and it's legal? Just legalize it
Yeah.
all the way. Who cares?
All right.
Who cares? Right? Like the people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at some point, it's like, okay, you have dispensaries, but you want to tell people how much they can get in their house. That doesn't make
Yeah.
sense,
Yeah.
right? Like we're doing things that just are trying to set us back and find any loophole to get someone. Right? I'm in right now. I've been working in Davenport, Iowa on this campaign. I'm in Moline, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 11 minutes from Iowa, but in Moline, Illinois, weed is legal. In Iowa, if you have a little piece of weed on you, they sending you to jail, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's how it works here. But it's 2026. People are
But even
choosing to go
that's intentional. They know the types of people they're going to catch that will have
right
that
across from the
quantity.
bridge, going across the bridge, right? So it's those type of things that are stressors and make me continue to say, hey, we got to keep fighting. We got to keep standing up for something, because those things are not little things. There are no little
Yeah.
things when families are being ripped apart by
Right at all.
marijuana.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're not. I have people, I was going to visit the prison every day. Saturday, Sunday of every weekend, I was going to visit the prison to go see a man wrongfully incarcerated, right? And you know what? 25 plus years of that man's life taken, and then got pardoned, and him and his co-defendant, who were both innocent, both in prison for over 25 years, now they're still fighting for their freedom and they are out of jail.
Yeah.
So this is what the system does. So even when you get a commuted or a pardoned or whichever one they received, you still fighting
You
for
still
them
fighting.
charges to be erased unless it's
Mm-hmm.
completely wiped and thrown.
Mm-hmm.
I already gave you 25, 26 years of my life. Y'all are killing people on death row that are clearly innocent. People are being murdered. Julius Jones is still in prison for a crime he didn't commit in Oklahoma City. And on the day, hours before he was scheduled to be executed, they spared his life. Hours. Do you know how traumatic
Mm.
that has got to be for you to be, they ready to put you up? You had your last meal and they're going to execute you for something you know you didn't do?
Yeah.
But this is the system that we're fighting.
Yeah.
Yes, it's intentional. Absolutely, it's intentional. But it is still our duty to fight and win.
Yeah.
So we can't be hopeless, because when we move into hopeless, that means that no. Now, when you move into the hopeless space, then you're not taking action anymore. You
Mm.
give up, right? If you once you become hopeless, you begin to completely doubt.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to ever get hopeless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, because it's a lot. Like a lot of my guests, I've had the wrongly convicted. 25 years of his life, and as a child for something he didn't do. Another guy don't get out till he get in his 50s, wrongfully convicted. You hear
You
these
50
stories.
some years old coming in.
It's like, come on, man. Like, and you hear these stories, and it's like they're telling their story for what happened to them 25 years ago. And then you got somebody telling their story what happened to them 5 years ago, 2 years ago. It's like, man, come on. Like, really? Like this? And that goes back to what you're saying, like history repeating itself.
Growing up, my mom's friend, he was beaten so badly by the police when she was growing up, a friend of hers in New York, to the point that they handcuffed him to the bed. He had handcuff marks. When he died, he still had handcuff marks
Hmm.
stuck on him, right? Because this is the system. This has been going on for years, years and years.
Yeah, it's sickening. So you stand up for injustice, wrongly convicted, for those that trying to get their ability to vote, the ones that are now back into
Yep.
society, those that are
Yep.
fighting for getting the ability to either arm themselves or right to vote or even to be employed in certain
Yep.
spaces, right? Um, what other things is like on the forefront of your mission that you're tackling now?
Oh boy.
So you got time? Like,
What am I tackling right now? Specifically, like in this moment right now, I am tackling Iowa. I'm tackling doing some work too because if you all don't know, they have basically last year they passed a law to block the usage of Medicaid in Planned Parenthoods. And so most people don't know that this is going on. But Planned Parenthood, people just think about it as abortions, but Planned Parenthood offers vasectomies, cancer screenings, STI testing, birth controls, right? All these other things. And so in Iowa, we are really pushing people to call their members of Congress in order to advocate that so they don't won't continue to defund these centers because they just closed the one out here that will be closest to us. They closed that one due to the funding, being defunded, not having the proper funding to continue to go on. And so we're trying to get their Congress folks out here to really stand with the people and not defund, continue to vote for defunding Planned Parenthood. Now, the right before that, the campaign that I was working on was for the redistricting in Virginia, and so I
oh,
was
Fairfax. Okay.
Fairfax. We were doing 100. We knocked 120,000 plus doors. My office, and had a staff of about 160 on roster at some point. And so that was really the biggest thing. And now we have the Supreme Court situation. So really right now we're in a campaign season. It's just a year for a lot of elections. I don't know what's happening after this campaign, but I will be really heading back to Richmond to one breathe because I really moved from one campaign to another. 4 days maybe off, not even, well, it really wasn't off because I was packing and reshifting and moving stuff out of one office. But I really just want to rest. My goal is to rest for a few days when I get home, and to kind of recenter this. I don't, people say build a nonprofit. This is not the best time to start a nonprofit right now, to me. And just coming from the nonprofit sector, um I just didn't, I don't think it's the best time to start something like that when funding has been drastically for a lot of the things that we're doing. But what I do plan on doing is really trying to launch this business in this consulting firm to really help people, give people the skills, the businesses, find people's gaps in their organizations, find people's gaps in their campaigns in order to really help create a lasting impact. I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people need help doing this work, but they don't know where to start. So I have a
Mm-hmm.
few ideas that I'm trying to pitch to some folks, to some firms and some different organizations in order to really help them use their money and put their money where their mouth is. Ultimately, that's
Okay.
my goal. Is a lot of these places is to help them put their money where their mouth is.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what? And I'm sure this is probably a difficult question to ask, but is there a pancake, a rally that was the most dear to your heart that like really took a like wrapped your emotions all around it to the point
Ooh.
where you took on probably more than you should have, just from an emotional perspective?
I think my cases. I think not a rally, or I think
Okay.
it's the cases.
The cases. Okay.
Because I tend to get wrapped up into people, right? So it's like the case
Mm-hmm.
is one part of it, but the family themselves and their emotions, their needs outside of the case
Mm-hmm.
really wraps me up too. Like I have some families that have become more like family, and some families that I feel frustrated with because feel like I'm fighting and you won't fight with
You're
me,
not.
right? And so because everyone has a different level of capability, or not, I don't want to say capability, but a level of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like uh
Capacity or
capacity, right? Everyone has different capacity, right? My capacity feel like it never ends. I always have
right.
more capacity, and that's nothing but God. But for
Right.
some people it's not the same.
Yeah.
And so I think like it has been really hard. Like I've had to set boundaries because again, this is free work, and even though it's free work, I do it exceptionally well. I do it the best I can, and I try to show up the most I can for people. But I had to really set a boundary. Like, I can't be your social media person. I can't be your PR person. I can't be all of these things
All
to
of them.
everybody. But what I can do is I can teach you how to advocate for yourself, and I can teach you what things you need to do so that way you can be effective in your strategy, right? Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
only one woman,
Right.
and it's too much. It's so time consuming. I can't even. That's why I'm posting my social media. If you notice, it's
Mm-hmm.
very limited things that you see. Even though there's so many things that you know that I do, right? Because you have kind of done a little more digging, but it's so many things that I'm doing. People don't even know I'm in Iowa doing this
Right.
campaign, right? Because it's so many things, and I'm not. I don't got time to make content.
Yeah. Too busy
Content be
doing
sitting
the
in my
work.
thing forever. Too
Too busy
busy
doing
doing
the
the
work.
work.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm. I
I've
love
had to
that.
get
I
two.
love that for you
I had to get
because
two
most people
phones.
are opposite.
I had
More
to get two
content,
phones.
much work.
I now have a second, like a personal phone line, like literally a personal phone. So when I'm tired of work, I can leave this phone at home, right? And say, I'm about to transfer my Apple Music over to this other phone of my cards, right? So that way I always have
Mm-hmm.
access to what I need because I got to the point where this phone was ringing so much. And when you do campaigns, right, you get staff, you have all these other things going on. And it got to be so much that I found myself like, it's no turn off. Staff members calling
Mm-hmm.
at 10 o'clock, bosses calling at this time. We got to set a boundary.
Yeah.
We got to set a boundary. And so I had to get me another phone to set a boundary.
So, okay. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. What do you think? Do you feel anything coming down the pipeline in terms of another one of their strategic plans to disrupt, interfere, cause more devastation to Black and Brown communities?
I think that if they don't get this virus under control,
Mm.
this new virus that is coming out, we're going to be in another, they're going to try to put us under
Another shutdown.
another shutdown. I
Mm-hmm.
do think that. And I think that virus coronavirus devastated Black and Brown
Mm-hmm.
communities to a certain extent. And so I think that that could be a way to do
Mm-hmm.
so. I do think that with the voting, right, and what we're seeing with the Supreme Court, I think that we're going to be in for some real treats when it comes to election season all the way around. I think that we're going
Going
to see
forward, you mean?
just going forward. Yep. I think moving forward, we're going to see a lot of funny business with elections, a lot of things where we have these extra elections and then the Supreme Court comes and do what they did in
Mm-hmm.
Virginia. I do feel like they are going to do everything they can to continue to suppress the vote. And a lot of that is because, you got to think it's 2026. Donald Trump been in since what year? 2020 what? When he became president
I feel like
again?
he never stopped being
He been
president.
president for too long. He been
Like
when
way
did he
too
get elected,
long.
right? Like
Yeah. Anything else you think is coming down the pipeline that's on the
um
horizon that we should probably be putting some attention on?
I think it's really going to be this voter suppression stuff. I really do. I think that's going to be the biggest thing, like really being able to protect your vote. I think another thing that I'm seeing a lot of or hearing a lot about in some states is like verification IDs, right? Like if your ID
Mm-hmm.
name isn't exactly what it's supposed to be on your birth certificate or whatever, however you verify at the poll for your area, people are finding that it's been an issue. Like if your middle name ain't on the document, then they won't let you
No.
vote. And so we're seeing little things like that already across the board. I do think that another thing is going to be the student loan situation. Like I think that right now, I think student loan debt is so huge in this country, and instead of eliminating it, they're gonna be wanting people to pay it, which is gonna ultimately, which we already are seeing happen, which is ultimately gonna devastate communities even more because people that can't pay their student loan debts back, your wages are getting garnished. You already can't pay your
Right.
debts back, so now you're. So I think that those things are really things to pay attention to. Like, make sure you're deferring. Make sure if you have an option that you're calling your student loan people ahead of time because they're gonna make it hard. I do think,
Mm.
as far as financially, because they try to attack us where it hurts the most,
Oh
right? With
yeah.
our
Mm-hmm.
pay and our votes. And when you affect people's votes, you make them think that they don't matter, and then when you expect, then they don't vote. So now it's easier to get them to feel,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
yep, I do.
I got a few questions before I let you go. I'm
You
trying
okay?
my best to be more
You're fine.
respectful of time. No, because people, I tell people a time for a reason. They have a life, and if you know anything about me, we could do this for 2 more hours. And so I just
I
my
love
life
it. I'm
set up
having a good
different.
time.
So,
That's why I left the car at the office. I said, okay, I'll lift home. Y'all take the car. I'll see y'all tomorrow, and y'all good. They debriefing. They all right. They'll figure it
so I
out.
do want to, before I get into my specific question, I do want to ask you a few others. So, what? Okay, so let's speak to the black man, right?
Mm,
That was convicted wrongfully or not. He's done time in prison.
mm-hmm.
He has been in society for some time now,
Okay.
but he's still struggling for his rights.
Yeah.
He's still struggling to really get back into the work field. He feels ostracized, if you will, limited. What do you have any resources you can share with him, or anything encouraging, or places where he can go and to look into further
Yeah.
help assist him as he navigate?
For one, keep going. For one, you made it through prison. Prison is hard, right? You survived through that. You can survive through anything and anywhere. So keep going. And it's okay not to be okay. Utilize those mental health resources through social services. But a really shameless plug, one of my favorite organizations in Richmond, Virginia, but they do a lot of work in Hampton Roads area, UVA, Charlottesville area. No left turns. No left turn, Sheba Williams. That woman, she's going to give you the information you need, the correct information through her nonprofit, No Left Turns. I have nothing but love and respect. She's a black woman. She knows about doing time. She's a family them did time. She helps you with expungement clinics. She does expungement clinics. She does restoration of rights classes and trainings. She is anything with reentry, that is your person. And if she's not connected to them, she will connect you to the right person. And so if you are looking for some things in like Connecticut, we got some stuff in Connecticut. I know some folks in
Mm-hmm.
Connecticut. So really, I mean, it's hard because I don't have a directory of these people, but if you
Mm-hmm.
need something, I can try to point you in the right direction. And I mean that. But no left turns. If you're looking like specifically Richmond, Hampton Roads area, Virginia, I highly recommend her. And I say that because I know her and I trust her and I've seen her do this and she is selfless about this work.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. So, what about the family? The family that's dealing with maybe there is a loved one in prison. Maybe she's a single mom. Maybe there has been some drastic situation happen. Maybe they were harassed, violated, um, attacked by
Yeah,
police. What do you have for them? Because we really don't know. We go through
it's
this
no,
stuff,
you're
and if
right.
nobody knows on the left or
Um,
right of where we live, we sit on these issues.
it's not okay. For one, I think it's important to know that what you went through is not okay, but it's not the end of your story. And so when families have a loved one that are killed by police, I will do everything I can to point you in the right direction, to help you, to teach you what you need to know and the step by step. As far as like specific groups, I know Life After the Impact is a nonprofit that helps with families who have been impacted by police violence, as far as like murders from police. They do a lot of they're actually doing a Know Your Rights training in Norfolk, Virginia on June 20th in honor of her son, Xavier Hill, who was killed by the police in Goochland, Virginia. So that is happening on June 20th, Know Your Rights training. They do a lot of those. So I highly recommend getting in plugged in with them, Life After the Impact. They also have a podcast as well, where they bring impacted families on and share their stories and tell them
Mm-hmm.
and like kind of help you highlight that story and elevate that story. Um, I don't, to be honest, I do not know specific groups that do what I do. I'm not going to lie. And I mean that because there are a lot of community led groups. I would say, one, just tap into your community, see what groups are within your community that are local, that may be social justice organizations, Black led
Mm-hmm.
organizations. I will say vet these people though, because just because they're Black don't mean,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, additionally, like you have to vet people. Um, That's a hard one, like, because I'm not the end all be all, right? Like, I know
Right.
people across the country that do this work. So there are people in different cities and states that I could link people up with. And if you are a mom, if you are someone experiencing a mental health crisis, there's the right response. They're great. Rather than calling the police, you can call that number, and they're great to have if your loved one's going through a mental health crisis. Uh, it's like it's kind of hard to say. It just depends on the
Hmm.
need. But I would say community, like reaching out to community members, digging into that, into your community to see what's already available. Because there could be something there, but a quick Google search, a quick call, a quick um, phone call to your local nonprofit may be the one thing that changes the trajectory of your situation.
Yeah, I was looking through my someone that I know has sent me two situations, and I can't. I'm sorry, I can't recall the
It's
names of the
okay.
family or the situation, but I think one, it was a situation where I don't want to butcher it. There was something about infestation to a young guy, and he died in prison. The prison was so infested that,
Where was
yeah,
this
it was
at?
something. It was something relatively recent. Something, I think it, I don't want to butcher it. It sounds
Where
foolish,
was
but it was,
it?
I believe it was Maryland or Virginia. It was somewhere local, because someone, I said, hey, you should reach out to them. And I don't want to put myself in a space where I want to do some research. Is what I kind
Yeah.
of told her. Then I was sent another one. I'll give it information. I don't butcher.
Yeah,
Just I want to
please.
put it
Yeah,
out there
yeah.
so I won't forget.
Yeah, of
It was
course.
an infestation situation. He actually wasn't supposed to be in prison. He was supposed to be in the hospital, from what I understand. I think he had like mental um,
Mm.
issues, and he was in prison. And it was something, he died based on some level of infestation. Like, I'm getting chills saying about it
What?
because I remember seeing the video. And there was another situation where, which I know was, I think it was DC, if I'm not mistaken, where the son was beaten to death by the guards. And apparently the family was trying to reach out and they wouldn't talk to them. They pretty much try to let them know they'll get back or whatever. And the whole time he was deceased. So I'll make sure to send you the information just so if you
Please do,
know.
yeah. So maybe
Yeah,
because I know some people in Maryland, definitely in DC. So that's an easy connecting. Oh,
yeah,
child,
I'll
I'm
make
so
sure to do
sorry.
that. And
It's
so, and that's kind
heavy.
of why, and that's kind of, and I'm glad to hear this because now I think I have hope. I needed this. Um, that's how I know I'm in my assignment.
That's right. That's
Because
right.
it's because for me, why would they send me that? You know what I'm
Hello.
saying? Like, I mean,
Hello.
hindsight, I'm not doing that level of work, but why? But there's a reason why. And that one person sent it to me, but another person sent a
Hmm.
different case. And so I was like, okay,
Hmm.
so I'm in, okay, there's hope, there's hope. You just get frustrated sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You just say what
Oh,
you feel in, and so I get
every day I get frustrated by this work and
it.
challenged and feel overwhelmed and
Yeah,
stuck sometimes. But you know what? You got to keep going. You
gotta
got to
keep
keep
going.
going. You got to keep going. Like
Yeah,
somebody's got to do it. And if we
that's
don't
the
do
thing.
this work, then how's it going to get done?
Hmm.
It's that
Yeah,
simple. How will it get done? If this is the if this is the passion that we have and this is the life plan that God has for us, right? Then we have to trust it. If we again going back to if we believe that we're exactly where God wants us, then you're writing your assignment.
yeah, yeah,
And you have to walk in that
yeah, fully.
fearlessly, fully. And I'm talking to myself when I say that. Cause I'm
Hmm.
that girl. And I be letting people treat me like I'm not. And when I
Yeah,
came on here
no,
and you
man.
had this welcome for me, I was like, you know what? I am pretty great.
Yeah,
I
very much
am pretty
so.
dope. I am making an impact.
Yes,
I
you
am
are.
a world changer, right? But we have to walk in that.
Yeah.
Like it's some days where I'm like, and God's been dealing with me on that, right? It's like you already changed the presence of every room you walk into, right? You so every room I walk in, I know that God sent me in that room,
Right.
right? But what He has been dealing with me about is keeping myself together. Because what I
Yeah.
like to do some days is like I'm gonna just go out the house. And God is like, bigger. You
Yeah.
thinking too small. You gotta think bigger. You
Yeah.
gotta think bigger. You should every day walk out like the woman that you know that you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Every day. So I've been buying little stuff, putting right, because I've been like, okay, Lord, let me buy a new pair of shoes and stop. It's been 5 years. It'd be 5 years and I've had the same pair of sneakers, right? Because that's not I will give you my money to to pay for Pampers for your kids, right? Like
Right.
I'd rather do that than by myself stuff. But God has been showing me like you should be able to live a fulfilled life and still
And
do
feel
X,
that
Y,
part.
and Z. It's okay to look good. It's okay. You know you these people ain't paying you, so what does it matter how great you look?
Mm-hmm. Because
What
it's
does
a
it
thing
matter?
where, yeah, it's been a thing for me for I feel like a few years now. Like we don't shrink. We don't shrink. Don't shrink. Because you'll find yourself shrinking just to kind of, blend in, camouflage.
I had to stop feeling like I was. People will make you feel like you're the problem because you won't shrink, right? People like when you are a woman, a black woman already, a woman of power, authority, right? People will be mad at you because you will not shrink into the box, the little tiny box that they put you in,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, or you won't align with what they want you to
That
align
part.
with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I don't care. God, I'm isolated. I'm set apart for a reason, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, because I'm set apart, no, I can't work with you. Because I'm set apart, no, I won't do what you want me to do. Because I'm
Exactly.
set apart, I won't start a nonprofit so it could fail in 30, 60, 90 days. Because I'm set apart, I won't just choose whatever path y'all want me to be on.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm set apart, I know that I got to go back to school, right? Because I'm set apart, I know that I had to come to Davenport, Iowa, a place that I never even thought I would be. But how you gonna be a real world changer if you can't hit every area?
There you go. Mm-hmm.
These people are racist out here. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about I have my canvassers being called the N word at doors they're knocking.
Mm-hmm.
Gay canvassers being called what they now told me is the F slur. That word that old people use to call gay people that you shouldn't use anymore because it's not appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That is what we're going through in this area that I'm in.
Mm-hmm. You
But
gotta get up every day and keep going.
and if I'm here, that means that's not what I thought I was coming to be and
Right.
get, right? I was under the impression it was going to be completely different. And when I got here, it was, oh, wait a minute. Y'all ain't tell me this. Wait a minute. Y'all were not, and that's okay. We won't go into that.
Mm-hmm.
But if God allowed me to say yes to this role and take it, He knew that it was a bigger plan for
Exactly.
me.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bigger plan. So He redirected me to Davenport, Iowa. I was thinking I was going to be home chilling. And He said, no, you're going to go to Iowa. Or maybe He didn't say, and I chose to go to Iowa. But He said, when you get to Iowa, I'm going to take care of you. I'm
Take
going
it
to make sure that
anyway.
you're
Right. That
okay.
part. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you're going to still have a purpose for being there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you were already prepared for it, and I like that. Whether you were sent directly or you weren't your own, that mean I'm alone. That part, yeah. I love it. I love it. You just your willingness and the passion. Like
I'm
I know I
trying.
have to say this, but don't lose it. Right? Like
Thank you.
we need you.
Thank you.
Um,
I'm trying
we
not to.
see you. We see you. We
I
appreciate
appreciate that.
you.
Ditto.
And we're grateful
Truly.
for you.
Yeah,
Um,
truly ditto.
Unfortunately, we don't do a good job with sharing that nowadays, right?
Girl.
We just look at the story and go about it.
Yes, we do. We
That's all
do.
we
I'm
do.
guilty
That's
of
as
that. And
much
I
as
had to
we can do.
now I try to make sure I like stuff. I comment on stuff because people need to know that they are loved, that you're proud of them, right? Like that's how you build community. Those little things. Commenting underneath somebody's post because they look good or because they're doing something good.
Mhm.
Now there's some people I don't get along with. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah.
There's some people
Oh,
I
I'm
do
with.
not like in this space. I love them because it's my job to love them, but I do not like them.
Yeah, I get it. I got some questions for you. I
Yeah, and so
I
I like Mama
like.
is 6'6". No, I'm kidding.
Right. Exactly. No, this is regular dialogue in our household. Like my husband and I had 5 kids total, and this is kind of just what we do. We don't do a lot of surface. I don't lie. We don't do no surface.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's going on in social media,
Yeah,
Hollywood? We don't do
yeah,
none of that. We do real culture
yep.
concerns and tragedies and plans, and you know what I'm saying. Like we're really big on
Mm-hmm.
that, and and we can tell that the seeds have been watered by others by seeing our children now as they evolve.
Mm-hmm.
never
Mhm.
show it.
Mhm.
And we say sound like us. They talk. Oh my
Mhm.
God, he talk just as much as you. Oh my God, he asks just as many questions as you. You know, and they
Isn't that
always,
funny?
it's actually hilarious.
I see that in myself with my mom, right? Like my cousin used to say, "Don't take Aunt. I'm not going to the store with Auntie because she got to talk to every single person, right?" My mom gonna compliment you. If she likes something about you, she's gonna tell you, right? If she likes your hair, you gonna know. She speaks to every single person, okay? And when I was younger, I'd be like, "Can we just go? I'm so tired." Now I go into a store. I speak to every
Every si-
person. I talk to everyone. Girl, them nails is cute. Oh, right. And I have become. But guess what? I am. I am because of her, right?
yeah,
I am able to be who I am. This work to show up how I show up with love because of her. She taught me.
yeah, yeah. Again, that inherited, right? You
It's
inherited that.
inherited. So your
Yeah,
babies is doing what you taught them. You showed
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah. It is again. It's hilarious because you kind of I sound just like me.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And so, but it's a beautiful thing, and I think that that is the each one reach one.
Yeah.
That's the community, right? That's the foundations of build because now they have their own communities,
Yep.
adults,
Yep.
right?
And
And
now
they're
they're.
doing and
That's
they're
right.
doing what we did for them, and they're doing to their friends as we do to our friends, right? And
And
so,
setting
I
that
haven't lost
tone.
hope. I haven't lost hope. I had to say it
Mm-mm, you
again. I
better
haven't
not.
lost hope. The work is still being done. We'll keep doing the work, and we'll continue to expand. As God see fit.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
That part, gotta put that in all caps, like on a post-it note in the
Mm-hmm.
doorway. Yeah, seriously. I got a few questions.
Okay.
Okay, so what does being a freedom fighter truly cost you emotionally?
Hmm. I don't know how to answer that one. Everything. Um, Sleep, a lot of sleep. There's a lot of sleepless nights. It's a lot of emotional labor. Um, yeah, it's um dang, it just made me emotional when you asked that question. Ooh, yeah, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of people misunderstanding you, a lot of loneliness, a lot of isolation. So emotionally, it's expensive. Being a freedom fighter is expensive. It, Being a freedom fighter allows people to place expectations on you, unrealistic ones. It puts you into a space that people think they know you, right? So now they put you in a bubble, so now you're putting your own self in a bubble because I gotta be a certain way. Or if I'm not a certain way, then they're gonna judge me, or they're gonna think this of me, or they're gonna think this because everybody's watching, right? And you present as this. So I think it's just expensive.
That's a good answer because that's kind of what I foresee. My answer was going to be emotionally expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because of the passion alone, it keeps you ensnared, keeps you caring, and sometimes, as you said, more than the people that you're helping. Right.
Mm. Mm.
Um,
Mm. 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 Oof. Hmm.
what keeps you going when life hits you personally, but people still need you publicly?
The fact that they need me publicly.
Mm,
The fact that I know that I was called by God since being Since being in my mother's womb, I was
Mhm.
called to be this person. That's what keeps me going. Knowing that, knowing that the work that I do comes from a genuine place, and that I don't, I know that I can do something, so I should do it. Right. I'll give you an example. When I was in this really bad car wreck last year, uh, and I couldn't use either of my hands. And every year they have, typically almost every year, we missed it. This year we didn't do anything, and that's a whole nother story. I don't know. But we do something for Donovan Lynch, who was killed in Virginia Beach on March 26, 2021, along with DeShayla Harris at the oceanfront. And so every year their family does something on the 26th or something on his birthday, right?
Mhm.
And last year they were having a event at a this little spot in Hampton,
Mhm.
this restaurant, George Lounge. Yep, George's George Lounge. And you know, I felt so terrible. I remember that day. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go. I'm crying. Like I'm literally crying to Donovan's sister, who literally I wouldn't have got through that without her, right? Like helping
Mhm.
me get dressed. Like she had to come over and help me dress myself that day because I
Mhm.
was unable to physically put on my own clothes.
Mhm.
And so I remember that day feeling so overwhelmed. She's like, if you don't want to come, if you can't, like, it's okay, it's okay. But I know what my presence means in a place, right? Like, I know that Mr. Lynch wanted me to be there. Like I know that Lauren, even though she was saying it was okay, still wanted me there,
Right.
right? Like I
Mhm.
know that my presence would have gone noticed, right? And I not that I have made every event because there are moments that I can't, right? But in that specific day, even though I felt horrible, I mean I really was struggling. I had gained so much weight that I'm still trying to figure that out, right? Like I felt terrible. I looked bad. It was bad. Um, and I just, I just knew I had to show up. And so that is an example of just like still knowing that people need you publicly,
Mhm.
right? We had the mayor of what was it, Newport News or Hampton that showed up and right, and
Mhm.
he's giving this statement and this letter to the family and all these things, and it's like
Gotta be there.
you gotta be there, right? And so that's one example that I can remember just so out like clearly, like going through that car accident and still feeling like, oh man, I need to make it there. Like I got it. And they picked me up. Like he came to Richmond and got both of us, me and his daughter, and drove us down to that area and brought us back, home and things like that. And so that was nothing but God that
Yeah.
I was able to even make it through that. I was on painkillers. I was heavily medicated,
Mhm.
and but I had to be
You had to
there.
be there. Mhm.
I had to be there. Yeah, those my peoples.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's the obligation that you put on yourself. You know. Hmm. Since you mentioned that, how did that car accident affect you mentally or emotionally? Clearly, physically, but how did that? With all because I mean, I hate to say it this way, but it has to be said this way. With all that you do, because you boots on the ground, right? How did that car accident affect you and your ability?
I felt inadequate. I felt the lowest I have ever felt in my life.
Hmm.
Um, I was very depressed. I struggled to get out of bed most days. Like um, it was really, really rough. I felt like I was in one of the lowest places in my life. Um, And I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, but I think it was the ego of me totaling my first luxury car, right? It was the inability to do my I couldn't even shower myself. My mom had to come from New York and bathe me. Um, I couldn't dress myself, right? People were seeing me naked that they never seen me naked before, right? Like I am so that alone made me feel low. The amount of pain I was in made me feel low. The painkillers didn't help, right? I mean they helped, but they didn't help mentally.
Right.
Because they made you feel low. And I struggle with feeling like I would never get back into the swing of this work.
Mm.
And not because I wasn't doing anything. People still called me, people still sought me out for things. But I couldn't type a letter to you, right? Like I couldn't type up a press release for you. I could voice message, like I got this voice thing on my computer that helps me type and voice recognition, all these things, but I couldn't even lift my own laptop.
Mm.
Right? So it's like I just it rocked my world.
Mm.
It felt like the world was moving and I was stuck because I couldn't do anything. I didn't have a car no more. I was just stuck. I was just like a hump on a log. Um I was in a dark place. It was a very dark place for at one point it was just dark.
Mm.
But it also has pushed me to live more, right? Like if until you see yourself going head first into a tree
Mm.
and you don't know if that's the last thing you're going to see before you leave this world, you don't really understand what it means to live too.
Mm.
Like, yeah, like I think, yeah, 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 ooh, yeah, yeah. Now that was a hopeless time in my life.
Mm.
I didn't think I was going to make it through that. The amount of pain, the physical therapy, not having my mom very close, not having, people close. It was hard.
How'd you get out of that place? That dark space you say you were in?
My neighbors, my community. I saw my neighbors. I saw my neighbors every day. My neighbors on my hall are who got me through that. God, my neighbors who just would knock on my door and take my trash out. My neighbors who would come over and make me take walks with them. My neighbors, I'm not talking about my family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I never got a visit from any of my family members during that whole time. But I got a visit from my mom too. Right. She's a full-time caretaker. If it wasn't for that, she would have been there. Right. My mom came and slept on my couch
Mm.
because she was so scared. If I sleep in the room with you, I'm gonna mess your arm up. Right. Like she was so scared. And she didn't want me sleeping on the couch because I needed to elevate my arm a certain way and things like that. Right. And so because I would always give my mom my bed. But um my community and therapy. Like I had to go to therapy. I had to go to therapy. It was
Mm.
no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And somebody I know who does this work, Tansy, she's the founder of 1 Million Madly Motivated Moms, 1M4. She hooked me up with her therapist and she squeezed me in. Dara, I thank God for her
Mm.
because every week we had therapy. Every week she saw me, she would squeeze me in to make sure because I could not even get myself out of bed. I was doing therapy in my bed.
Mm.
That's how bad it was. So it was that. It was the love of the people around me in my community, my friends who drove from North Carolina and from here and there to make sure that I was okay, who meal prepped for me so I
Mm.
could eat every day. right? Because I was eating out so much. Who went and grocery shop so I could have snacks in my house. Those people, Lauren, impacted families,
Mm,
right? Latoya coming and just stopping through Richmond. I'm gonna give you a hug real quick. Those things are
yeah.
how I got through it.
Your community, the community that you serve.
A friend from
And,
college that I hadn't seen since 2013.
pulled
We were
out.
supposed to do lunch, and he ended up finding out about our accident. I said, "You can still come over." I looked like a mess. My wig was jacked up, couldn't even put on real clothes, and he came and prayed for me the day after my accident. That's what did it.
See, because that's what you sow. So rightfully so. The community helped you get out of that space. That's what's up. What does systemic racism look like in everyday life for you?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because I feel like it looks different for a lot of us, right? Depending on the environment you're in and the work you do. And
Hmm. Hmm. What does systemic racism look like for me? Oh, that's a good question. What does it look like for me? Um, what does systemic racism look like for me in my everyday life? Ooh, wow. It looks like it looks like people who come home from serving 25 plus years in prison having to go on probation. That's what it looks like. Um, it looks like hmm, it looks like officers not being indicted for murders, right? It looks like pe- ju- I forgot my mom got the breakthrough. She's on the favorite. Sorry. It looks like people. Um, it looks like dirty water still in Flint.
dirty water still in
It looks like that. It looks like the schools in one district having updates and upgrades while the other school system barely got books, right? That's what I would say it looks like. God, it looks like a lot of things.
Flint.
It looks like a lot of things. That's a hard. I don't even know how to answer that question.
You answered it. I think you answered it enough for
Um,
me. I
it
can.
it looks like. I mean, it looks like there being no middle class anymore. It looks
People don't want
like
to have that conversation. I be trying to go ahead. Mm-hmm.
it looks like taking Medicaid out of Planned Parenthood, right? It looks like those things. It looks like um gentrifying neighborhoods. I mean, it's all of those things are a part of the wealth disparity, right?
Yeah.
Systemic wealth disparities. That's what it looks like. I mean, it looks
Every,
like doctors, it looks like nurses at hospitals beating up black babies. That's what it looks like, right? Like it looks like those things and then not getting into jail time. That's what it looks like. It looks like black women's mortality rate while giving birth. That's what it looks like, being exponentially higher than white women. That's what it looks like.
mm, mm, mm.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Um, what
Yeah.
would true justice for Black people actually look like?
Reparations, cut the check, baby. Cut the check. Got it. My
Yeah,
40 acres and a mule, baby. It'll
yeah,
look like that to me.
yeah.
Okay. It'll be giving the land back. It'll be giving us back what it was ours, what was stolen from us. That's justice.
Mm-hmm.
Repairing the harm that you did, and you can't even do that. So give me what you owe me. Pay me what you owe me. Better have my money. That's what
Right,
it looks like, right? Like
right,
that's what it looks like.
right. Yeah.
It looks like reparations. It looks like
Mm-hmm.
breaking this wealth gap up by giving people what is owed to them.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like giving us leveling the playing field when it comes to this. Cut that check. Cause y'all got generational wealth. But it's from what y'all stole.
From what you stole.
So give
That.
it back so we can give that to our generations and our lineage. Cut that check. Stop playing.
Yeah.
You know you stole that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Justice is indicting, it's convictions, arresting, charging, and convicting killer cops. That's justice. And not giving them a slap on the wrist. They took a life, do life in prison.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like accountability.
Looks like accountability.
That's what justice looks like, accountability. Ooh, ooh. That's sorry, I got a
Got
little upset.
round up, though. I
Ooh, got a
love
little round up.
it.
Hold on, I thought I needed no justice, no peace.
Exactly.
Justice is the police. Ooh,
Exactly.
that's what it looks like. Well, that's what it should look like. It don't look
That's what
like
it should
it.
look
Not
like.
right now. I don't know if it'll look like it in my lifetime. But I know that's what it should look like.
Mm-hmm.
Give me my acres. Give me my mule. Because I want it now.
No, seriously.
Give me
Mm-hmm.
my land. I know some construction workers. We could build a house
Right there. Yeah, on our land.
on my
That you.
land.
Yeah.
Talking about this land is your land. This land is my land. Please.
Do you ever feel like a target is on your back for what you do?
Oh boy. Absolutely. Absolutely. I know that they put a target on my back at one point. Shoot, when they had me in the Goochland Gazette or something like that, and they were like they first of all they sent the email out to the police department in Goochland at one point, and they had it in this book that they ended up printing out about like the protests or different things that were going on, and my name was in it, and they was like the girl with the megaphone. She always has a megaphone in every rally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I would say yes. I mean, every time I've gotten pulled over so many times, and do you know they never give me a ticket? And I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
God forbid, Lord, let me and all the things, knock on wood, refrigerator, whatever. But I get pulled over, and it's just like they just let me go every single time. Like every single time. And that tells me that you know exactly who I am because
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, y'all keep a track of when you pull people over. And I've
Mm-hmm.
been pulled over so many times. And they don't give me a speeding ticket. It's almost like I just want you to know that we know you. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what it gives. It doesn't give anything else other than that. That's it. That's all it gives. It's like every time they stop me, it's like they pull my information up, they see who I am, and then they say a little comment or a little, and then all right, have a good day. We're gonna give you a warning this time,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because you know if anything happened to me, this is it's going off. It's going
Mm-hmm.
crazy. It's y'all going oof. But I definitely do. I mean, being laid off, it's harder to get jobs when you stand up for something. People think you're a troublemaker, so it's
Yeah.
hard. And I mean, I'm left out of so many things because I'm so controversial. I don't know what's controversial about justice.
That's it right there. What's
When they be
conscious?
like, "Oh, they're what's the word people like to use? They're radical. What's radical
Right.
about wanting love and peace and justice?
Mm-hmm.
What's so crazy about that?" No, I love radically. I forgive radically. But ain't nothing radical about wanting to be free.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem that people can't be free is because they don't even realize they're still in chains. Y'all are slaves to these phones. Y'all are slaves to Instagram and TikTok.
Guilty.
Y'all are enslaved to these name brands.
Mm-hmm.
Your rent ain't paid, but you got to go out and get new Jordans. You got a problem. It's something going on here.
Talk about that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You, I, you're, you are enslaved to these things, these people, these places, right? And I thank God. I think one thing that allows me to do this work and to be able to go different places and move and jump and right is because I did grow up in a like that, right? Moving to different schools, change, and I'm adaptable. And I thank God for that because I do get now. My one friend, he always says, "Oh, she told my mom one day, your daughter's a hoarder because I save. I have 5 chargers, 5 this, 5 that." Right? I'm one of those people. I have multiples of almost everything, but I'm not so attached that I can't let things go. I can move on like this. It's a
Mm-hmm.
blessing and a curse in some things.
Oh yeah,
Right now,
I
is
get
it
that.
hard for me to give away my little things? Like, oh, if I got 5 of them, why do I need to throw away one? I'll give it to somebody, but I'm not going to toss it. Right? Like, I'm one of those people. I will give anything can stay or go or leave.
Mm-hmm. And that comes from moving and being in different environments. Mm-hmm.
I'm not too attached to something I
And
can't let
that's
go.
mm-hmm. And that's
Like
some
I love my
serious.
apartment, but I can let it go. I love Richmond. I love Virginia, but I know that it's time for change. Anywhere I go, I meet people. I thrive. I shine. I'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to move and not be tied down anymore. No, I tell you that much.
Yeah, I heard you in the beginning. I was gonna revisit that, but I said, we'll sit on that. Okay, I got a few more. Actually, I have a ton more, but I'm not gonna ask all of them. You often find yourself pouring into people while feeling empty.
Always, many times.
Mm.
But I feel like when I fill someone else's cup and I see the reaction of them getting full, it fills me up.
It rejuvenates you. I can imagine that being rejuvenating. Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like if I know that so and so been going through this, and then all of a sudden they got a new car, or all of a sudden they got this going on, it gives me new air, a new
Mm-hmm.
wind, a fresh wind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can see that. I'm going to ask you to finish some sentences for me, okay?
Oh boy.
The hardest part about fighting for people is.
They don't listen. Oh.
Oops, I got the answer. I ain't waiting
I'm
for
gonna
the
get
more.
some trouble for that one. I'm gonna get some trouble for that one. I'm gonna get some trouble. They don't listen.
Okay. Um, justice feels impossible when.
A guilty cop goes home free, or another life is taken at the hands of the police. Feels impossible because it feels like I'm fighting an endless battle because they keep killing us.
Mhm. Being on the front line taught me.
People over property.
Hmm.
People was collecting. They were more worried about their businesses than the fact that people were being shot with rubber bullets in front of their stores. I know that's a weird one.
After the accident, I realized.
Get up, girl. You need to live more. You need to live more. You think about all the things you can't do now that your wrists are jacked up, but all the things you weren't doing when your wrist wasn't jacked up because you were so
Mhm.
busy helping everybody else, and now you need all the help in the world. Girl, get
Mhm.
up.
That's real. If I had to be honest, I'm still healing from.
Childhood trauma. I think the more I grow, I see that there are things that I thought I was healed from that I'm still healing from. And that's just in relationships, family, friends, right? Like there are still some things in my life that I haven't healed that impact my relationships, typically romantic, but romantic and sometimes friendships, like platonic relationships, because of that trauma.
I totally get that. I ain't even gonna chime in. We're gonna add 40 more minutes to this. I totally understand that.
But
I think
that's
when we
where
build, I think when we start evolving and we're built up to a certain space or standard, I think that alone makes us feel healed. Or if we've done some level of work, you know, it's kind of feel. Maybe I was talking about myself. Sometimes it's like, and then when it comes up, it's like,
I ain't healed from
you
that
think that
yet.
affected me? Yeah, it's like I
Yep,
ain't think that
yep,
affected me
yep.
like that.
Because you feel like you're there, and then you realize, like, oh, I still got a little bit more to do because this just triggered me, or this just
Right.
made me snap a little bit, or oh, I really got mad about this.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still
But
working.
I said to myself, I said, dang, I thought that scab bit fell off. I'm back to the white meat with that. Jeez. Yeah.
Yep, I thought it was just me.
No, I definitely get it. The strongest people that I need are.
The strongest people that I need are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how do I feel that? The strongest people.
What strong people do you know that you need? Because you are the strong people person that we need. What strong people do you know that you need?
My mother. Oh man. Oh, I feel like people are gonna be offended when I go down this list because I might forget somebody. But I would say my friends Jeff and Alex, they're very much movement. They're in this space with me, right? They work on campaigns, so they understand the nonprofit sectors, the struggles, the things, and we met in Kentucky together, right? Like we all met,
Okay.
so they understand where the weight of the work, right? They
Mm-hmm.
understand the weight of the work. And I'm sure there are a million other friends that I could think of that are in this movement space as far as the strongest. But the strongest people that I need would definitely be them. Oof, there's so many people. I need a lot of my friends. My friend Brittany is like, she's my big sister. And so she holds me accountable in ways that because she's seen me grow from a 21-year-old me to now 30-year-old me, right? Oh, we've been friends for a long time. Maybe 22-year-old me is when we really started becoming friends. But anyway, for like the last 8 years, she's watched me grow. So she
Mm-hmm.
knows. So, um, yeah, the strongest people that I need. Ooh, yeah,
But
it's a
it's
lot of.
good. I'm glad that you have such a long list because that was
Yeah.
a concern. Because a lot of strong people don't
Yeah.
have enough strong people that they can
Yeah.
rely
I
on.
think
Good.
being strong, I don't necessarily reach out to my people, right? Like I think sometimes I fall short of that because I check on people, but it's hard to remember to have people remember to check in on me, right? And I think that's just the nature of being the strong friend.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the same breath, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of friends that I need. Like, oof. The strongest people that I need, or I'm trying to think about my list of people I talk to regularly, but some of those aren't necessarily ones I need all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a friend, my friend DJ Raven. She's like such a strong young lady, but I need her. We're very different in lifestyles, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we believe and we stand on many of the same things. And I need her to say, Angie, you not forget them people like she's that like because she's also in the community spaces and so she's
Mm-hmm.
like you should have been stopped helping them people or you should have been right so she's
Mm-hmm.
that friend too and so you need those as well in this
Definitely.
work.
Mm-hmm.
She'd be like
No,
girl
that's good. I'm actually really
yeah so I have
I'm really
a
glad to hear. I'm glad to hear that you
yeah
have a
space
list. That's
Yeah,
good.
it's I gotta
Whether you
remember that I
call
got
on it
that list.
often or not, I think acknowledging it may make put in the forefront of your mind. So next time I think you need one of them, you'll probably actually will reach out. That was kind of the strategicness
I'm
to me.
glad. Yes, because I need to call her. Like I need to call her actually. So yes.
I'm gonna get you out of here in a minute. I promise. I promise.
You
Voting
know,
matters because.
if it didn't, they wouldn't fight so hard to suppress our vote.
Mhm.
Voting matters because if it didn't,
Yeah,
voting matters because our ancestors died for the right to vote. Voting matters because it impacts on every level the things that affect it impacts our everyday lives. That's why it matters.
mhm.
Our communities depend on our school systems, our education, right? All of that, our roads, our highways, our water systems, all of that is dependent on voting.
That's good. One thing our people must stop doing is.
One thing,
I mean, no, let it rip. Go.
woo, tearing each other down, putting white people and black people business, inviting everybody to the cookout, saying that they votes don't matter, encouraging other people not to vote. What else? Cancel culture. We don't have grace anymore because all this cancel culture. What else our race need to do? Hmm. What's another thing? Wait, what was the question again?
I said one thing. We're gonna X that out. Our people must stop doing this. Go ahead. We need to hear it.
Oh my gosh. Our people, our people, our people must stop thinking that it's every man for himself out here. Oof. Oh my gosh. Our people gotta stop with that. This is a joint effort. We all going through it.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Mm. Our people need to. Our people must stop poisoning their brains. Like they gotta. You gotta understand that what you put in your spirit matters. Y'all listening to all this riff rap, and that's why y'all have crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Go listen to some NDIRE or something. Have a private party with yourself. Ooh. Okay, I'm done. I swear, I'm done.
Need to hear it.
Ooh. Mm.
The fight becomes lonely when.
Oof. Mm. Hmm. Oof. The fight always lonely. Shoot. Uh. The fight becomes lonely when people don't understand the magnitude uh of community. Like it becomes lonely when people don't feel like they like it became lonely post COVID, right? When people didn't have any more time on their hands and it's like so then they don't what am I it becomes lonely when people don't feel it's important anymore, right? When people don't understand that we need you to show up. If you don't show up, it impacts more than you. It's not just you not showing up, it's other people not showing up, it's people not feeling supported. It's more than just that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The younger version of me would be proud that.
Hmm. I didn't give up, I didn't quit, that I haven't changed, that I'm still this person, that I didn't let people and what they thought of me turn me into someone I never wanted to be. um that I didn't let judgment, I didn't let I, the younger version of me is proud that I didn't try so hard to fit in that I lost myself and my soul. Because there were times where I tried to fit in. I wanted to, because I didn't want to be the out. You're always the oddball out. You got a strict
Yeah.
mom growing up, right? Like you wanted, but I'm so proud that I didn't. that I chose to like still be me, to still like be this person. I mean, I remember I just was telling somebody this the other day. I said, I remember the first time I ever said a curse word, this girl almost lost her mind. She couldn't believe it, right? Like, cause that's who I was. Right. And so I've changed, I've pivoted, I've grown. Some things I do a little bit more than I need to, but I haven't on this one. I'm working on that.
Mm-hmm.
But she would be proud that she is still strong in her convictions.
Mm-hmm. Every freedom fighter needs.
Self-care. Self-care.
I think I have one.
I get stumped. I get nervous. I get shy. People always say, "How you shy and you be out here fighting for Black lives?" I'm like, baby, it's
Exactly.
different when that megaphone come out. I turn into Angie. It's like my alter ego.
Mm, 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 mm. Do you? Well, I think you really answered this one though. Do you feel like you're often treated differently because of what you stand for? I think you answered that with the job environment and stuff, though, right?
Yeah, but I think like yes, I think like people again they have this idea of who you are, like right? They have this assumption of what you stand for, who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember the first time I hung out with this one friend of mine. You know, now we've become good friends and everything. But she said when we went out to eat, she was like, because we met through social media technically,
Mm-hmm.
and so you know, she said what she said I was so kind of nervous because you're so like I'm so what like I was like I'm so what like I'm just a girl right like I'm just
Mm-hmm.
somebody who wants to make impact. But I think people have this like idea like they think like oh you're this I'm just me. I'm just me.
Well,
But
you
I think
are, you are, but I get what you're saying.
like I'm just I I I don't think more highly of myself than I am.
Good,
I'm
good.
just here to be, you know, like I think I'm cute, right? I
Yeah,
think
right.
okay, period. I think I'm that girl. But when it comes to this work, I'm just somebody
Yeah,
that's doing the labor.
yeah. It's a vessel. Yeah,
Just a vessel, just here, just passing through to show to be who God has called me to be. Like I didn't real world changer just came to me. It wasn't like, oh, I was like, oh, let me it literally just came to me and it was available on Instagram. And I actually couldn't believe it was available. I was like, huh? God,
mm,
real world changer. Okay. Cause I even tried to be the real world changer, the world changer, something I had before, right? I was trying to and God said, just type in real world changer and it came up.
mm,
But I knew my whole life that I was going to be somebody who did something, right? Like I know where I saw myself as a kid. You know, like I knew that I was going to be somebody. Like
mm,
I knew, like I just knew I was always different. I was like even just my mother, like I knew she was different than most parents. I
mm,
knew that she was called by God. I knew that she had a purpose. Like she was not like other parents. And
mm.
it got on my nerves, but it's like when you look at it now, it's like, whoa. But
Yeah,
I knew, I've always known. Everybody's always known. When people
yeah.
saw me get into this work, they were like, I'm not even surprised.
Mm,
When people saw me arrested, I'm not even surprised. Right? That was the reaction. When people see me working on campaigns, I'm not even
mm,
surprised.
mm. They
So
always saw it in you.
they always saw it, even on days I didn't see it in me, right? Like I didn't ask for this. I think like and I think that's why I don't really do the whole social media thing is because I'm not if I had a content person, they could do all my stuff, right? Because I got tons of stuff and they would strategize and do all that, right? Like great. But for me to do it, I don't care enough. I don't
Mm,
care enough. My reward is greater. And I
Yeah.
also know that this is just right now where I'm at, these little 4,500 followers, not little, big followers, because I love my followers. I love y'all. Let me clarify, right? Y'all mean something. Y'all push me. Y'all make me, y'all encourage me. Y'all support me. So, no, I don't want to say little because there are no little things. But what I mean by that is that's just, I ain't even scratched the surface of what God has for me. And I say that not even because I necessarily know what, I don't know, but that is the conversation that has been around everybody that has come around me. Girl, you ain't even got your, well, you know, some of them old sayings they be saying, right? Like you
Yeah.
still on, you that's going or what you gonna
Right.
do or right. And I know that to be true. So some days I feel like delayed. I feel like my car
Mm-hmm.
accident even helped delay me, but delayed is not denied. And so what
Right.
God has for me, I don't have to beg, fight, cheat, lie, scam to get,
Mm-hmm.
manipulate people,
Mm-hmm.
show, pretend, or I don't have to do that
Mm-hmm.
because what is for me is gonna be big. I know that. That's one thing I know and I'm certain of about God.
Mm-hmm. And I think
I got a
everybody.
bow on my foot. My birthmark is a bow on my foot.
Mm.
One of my birthmarks. It is a bow on my foot. It's been there since I was born.
Mm.
And if you
Wow.
outline it with a pen, it's a bow.
Wow. Hmm. Well, I am glad and grateful that I ran across that interview that I saw you on. You are definitely a breath of fresh air, inspiring.
Thank
Um,
you.
it's just so refreshing because you're youthful. You know what I'm saying? Like and not to take away from anyone of
No,
just
yeah.
older. It's just a beautiful thing to see. You so young and so passionate, so driven, and so committed. I personally love it. I
I
admire it.
appreciate
And
that.
keep going, keep going, keep going. I want you to end by saying their names, all their names that come to you. Um, I would appreciate if you did that, if that's okay.
Yeah. Oh man, say their names.
Mm.
Ooh. Walter Wallace Jr., Rollin Hill, Xavier Hill, Donovan Lynch, Tatiana Jefferson, Kenneth Sharp, Sean Monterosa, Brianna Taylor. Ooh, oh my gosh, it's so many. Oh, it's so many names. Oh, it's so many names. Oh, it's so many names. My heart just like the Shayla Harris. We don't know who killed her, but I believe the Virginia Beach killed her. But that's not for me to judge, right? Like that's not for me. And I don't mean for me to judge, but it's more so of a how do I say this? I can't I will continue to speak out and say that, but I'm not able to prove it,
To
right?
prove.
I have not been able to find it to be true.
Mhm.
I would say that oh man, it's so many names. Oh my gosh, you just got my brain like it went left a little bit because I started to think about the fact that there are so many names that go unknown and
I know.
unknown. Kenneth Sharp, and when I think about Kenneth Sharp being so young, and him and Xavier Hill so young when they were killed, Rashad Nelson, um, he was killed in oh my gosh in Monona, Wisconsin. Oh my goodness. Who else? Little baby Casey, Casey Cyprian. She was killed, like 1 years old, killed. It's oh God, I feel like I hate when I do this because then I forget so many people. Oh my gosh, I feel like I forget so many people when I do this, but
That's okay. Whatever ones come to your
oh
mind.
my gosh, it's so many of them. It's never ending. It's just like
Yeah, a list you can go to that you can put your hands on real quick or no?
probably. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, I think that would work.
Let me see. Let me see if I can pull one up really quick. I'm trying to think of every single family I've helped, and it's so hard because, oof, Jamal Bird, they do Life After the Impact. Oh my gosh, it's oh that one just like oh my gosh. Ooh, Jamal Byrd, Delanio Martin. He was killed in D.C. Um, Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin. Oh my gosh, the names never ending, never ending. Sorry, I
No, that's okay.
hmm. Ooh. Um, I'm sure I'm forgetting people, but I mean, I know because it's thousands. Of, every year, 1,000 plus people are killed by the police in the United States. Um, that's what I know. And so I will just say that I'm like trying to get myself back together. Sorry.
So,
Oh, when you start like saying them or thinking about it, and like as I say every name, it's a reflection of like how we get to this point, right? Or we start thinking about all these people and it starts like hitting a little bit different, especially like with some of the personal connections that I've had with their families. And so that's why it's like, oof. Um, Philando Castile killed in the car. Jacob Blake is still alive, thank God, but shot in the back by the police. And so Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, Laquan McDonald, my God, Terrence Crutchner, he was killed. Uh, David McCarthy killed during Breonna Taylor riots and protesting. George Floyd, we know, of course, that one. I feel like it's never ending when I think of these names. It's like, I mean, the list and it made me when you said that it made me go and I'm like, I started to I just hit Google and I'm like, wow, some of these names I didn't even know. Like, and not saying I'm gonna know every single name, but when you start looking at these lists and you're like, man, another one, another one another one, Mike Brown, right? Like these folks, we have seen so many people killed by the police. So many people killed by the police. It doesn't even make any sense. Like they have if you go to Mapping Police Violence, if anybody's ever interested in that, Mapping Police Violence shows how many people are killed by the police every year. It shows where they're killed by the police. It tells you exactly like which agencies they were a part of that were killed. This year alone, 450 people, 51 people have been killed so far. There have only been
we're not even.
5 days this year that people have not been killed by the police. 5 days so far. They have increased the amount of people. Elijah McClain, Dante Wright, Tamir Rice, Jordan Neely, Tyree Nichols, Patrick Loyola, Amir Locke, Tanisha Chapel, young girl shot through the TV, Marvin Scott, Vincent Bellamonte. I mean, Ray Sharp Brooks, Elijah McClain, Sterling Higgins, Jamel Robertson. It's so many. Marcus David Peters, right in Richmond, Virginia. Donnell Thompson Jr., Alton Sterling. Can't forget about him. Sandra Bland. Walter Scott, Ezell Ford, we said Amir Brooks, Renisha McBride, Corinne, I can't remember her name, Ayanna Stanley Jones, shot through the walls, Sean Bell, killed on his wedding day, right? Fred Hampton, look, they was all killed by the police. It's bad. It's so bad.
And for them, you must continue. And for
And for
them, we
them,
must do better.
we must get accountability.
Yes,
And for
absolutely.
them, we must make change. And for them, we must continue to fight.
Mhm.
And for them, we must show up.
Mhm.
I hate looking at the names. I hate saying the
I'm
names
sorry.
so long. And no, no, no. It's you're right on point because it regrounds you, it recenters you, it reminds you of why you do this work. When you see how many names, right? It's one thing to call out the names that you've worked with, and a lot of those names I have. But it's another thing when you start to look at lists of them. And I encourage everybody to look at some lists of them.
That's why I typed that. Make sure I type that website up. I'm gonna look
Mapping police
it up.
violence is a really good website to look at.
Well, I tell you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And is there
Thank
anything you
you.
got coming up that you want to announce? Because I normally end with my business plugs, and I put it in my notes. I want to end with say their names. I'm not even going to end with my business plugs. I don't want to even end it like that.
I'm good. Say their names. June 20th. That's the only thing I will say is a Know Your Rights training is happening in Norfolk, Virginia. So, Life After the Impact is hosting it. It's on their Instagram and their social medias. And then I'll be having. I don't have anything coming up right now. I'm trying to reset for the as I go back home. But on my Instagram, I'll be sharing a lot of the things as I'm building this business and kind of working with some other folks to build them up. Mm.
But God bless you and everything you put your hands to.
Amen. Same. Ditto, ditto, ditto.
You will so be remembered. Like it's not just a interview and
Please do. I'm always here and
yeah.
I appreciate this space. I appreciate you causing me to reflect on some things and like bringing some things back to my remembrance that I needed to remember of how we got to this point of who Jacqueline Angie, real world changer, is today. So I needed that memory lane. Memory lane.
Good. I'm glad that we were able to finally do this. It was God aligned. We ain't gonna worry about what happened
The
before.
timing is perfect.
The timing is perfect. I love you for what you
I
do.
love you. I do too.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yes.
here.
I
So
can
please
say that
keep it.
honestly.
Let's stay connected.
Yeah.
Let's
Very much.
outside of this, let's stay connected.
Very much so. We'll
I
do.
appreciate your spirit.
We're gonna end on that note. I ain't doing no plugs. Thank
All
y'all
right.
for your patience. Thank you for subscribing and peace.
Peace and
Peace and
love,
love.
y'all.
Thank you so much.